I'm saying everybody got to inside. Stop flip flop.
Testing, 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 testing. 1, 2, 3.
Guys, listen up. As you get older, the best way to continue to look young, exuberant, and vibrant is to continue to take care of your skin. That's why I'm excited to have Tige Hanley as a sponsor of today's video. You heard me talk about them before, and you're going to continue to hear me talk about them because I believe in their products and the positive impact that they have on every man's life. Tige Hanley makes taking care of your skin so easy. They provide you with all the products you need and nothing that you don't. Every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. Lapeef family, I must admit, skincare wasn't always something I always focused on, but since I started using this system, I've seen improvements in the way my skin looks and feels. And you don't have to take my word for it. They have over 5,000 5-star reviews on their website from satisfied customers from around the world. I recommend you start with the level 1 system, which comes with all the basics: a daily face wash, an exfoliating scrub, an AM moisturizer, and a PM moisturizer. In addition to amazing skin, members of Tige Hanley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off retail price, the ability to customize your box, pause or cancel at any time, and free US shipping. And because Tige Hanley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers a great deal. Just click that first link in the description and you'll get 30% off your first box plus the free gift. Seriously, that's an amazing deal. Even though it's too early, as I often say, it's never too late. Click that link and get started today.
What's going on, everybody? Can y'all hear me in the chat? Let me know if y'all can hear me in the chat. I had to change out something on this microphone. Got some new stuff coming tomorrow, but let me know if y'all can hear me. I'll wait for the confirmation. All right, bet. That's what's up. That is what's up. Need to jump on Amazon and order me a new USB-C. My other one snapped. Today is a trying day. I just snapped this area off my chair, snapped my USB-C cable. But we're going to make it do what it do, man. I hope everybody had a good weekend. I heard there was a lot of shit talking this weekend. So I'm going to jump right to it. I heard there was a lot of shit talking this weekend. And don't get me wrong. This is YouTube. It's all for entertainment. Some of it is for entertainment. But jumping off the events of Thursday, there's a lot of money to be made out here. So I want to forewarn any and everybody. Please do your worst. Talk, make your money. But there comes a time where you're going to stop dealing with the YouTube personality and you're going to have to start dealing with the man. So everybody needs to be careful what the fuck they say out of their mouth. If you don't think I'll bust a grape in a fruit fight, try me. Anybody that mentions my wife and or family life, I'm coming for you. If you want to mention the savage nature of men, bring that shit out. I'm not ashamed. It's natural. Do not mention my family, my wife, or my family life. Do not elude that I'm a woman beater or a bully or anything of the sort. I will sue the shit out of you. I got my lawyer on retainer. I will sue the shit out of you. Don't you ever in your fucking life allude to me as a woman beater, a bully, or any of that shit. I don't do that. I'm an upstanding man with a beautiful family. I am the embodiment of what I want other black men to be. You better recognize when you see one. I will fucking own your house by the time I'm done. Don't fuck with me. Anybody that want to come for me in that way, we got rules to this shit. You have never, ever heard me mention somebody's role as a father. They must not be doing well in their marriage. Some shit is off fucking limits. I got a different level of savagery. I don't got to put my hands on you. Since everybody wants to reference the art of war nowadays, I know how to fight the enemy where they're not. When you think I am far, I will be near. When you fear that I'm near, I will be far away so I don't get caught. Y'all fuck with the right one. Y'all did. Y'all fuck with the right one this weekend. You're going to stop dealing with the YouTube personality at some point, and you're going to start dealing with the man. It's time to teach some lessons out here. It's cool. I anticipated this shit, man. It is YouTube after all. People don't know when to stop. So you got to talk, you got to do your shit the way you do it. Much power to everybody. Make your money. But all right. There's some shit Trigger Mike just don't play about. And I can show you better than I can tell you. But what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Trigger Mike Show on the illustrious Lapeef Network. It is an awesome Monday. Awesome Monday. Awesome Monday. All right. We are out here working. We are out here working. All right. Put in some hours this morning, on the work front. It's a Monday if I ever seen it. You understand? Hopefully everybody's at work. Hopefully everybody got to work safe. Hopefully your children are in school safe. Let's say a prayer for them. That none of this craziness out here in the street may touch them. Because if you're a good mom, if you're a good dad out here, making it work for your children, that's what I'm about, and that's what we about on this show. I may have fed into some toxicity for entertainment's sake, but I don't live my life by it. I don't live my life by it. Today's topic is inspired by this very thing that we're talking about. We got to get into some realism out here, all right? But let's do some housekeeping really quick. Shout out to the sponsor, Teach Hanley, 30% off along with a free gift. The link is down in the description. Go ahead and get you that uncomplicated skincare for men. I just used some before coming on cam. All right. So we're going to let the nice natural oils come back out of my skin. It's going to have me looking pristine. Oh boy, y'all got the right one, man. Y'all got the right one. You know what this is indicative of? You know what this situation reminds me of? Because we don't promote a lot of things. We don't promote, violence. We don't promote violence against women. We don't do any of that. But every once in a while, we need some level setting so people understand. Because what we tend to do is that once the floodgates open, we tend to let a little too much water through. And then somebody's going to have to close the levee. Right now, too much water is getting through. Y'all are flooding the community with bullshit. Somebody's going to have to close the levee. And that can only be done through action. So I'm going to show y'all something. And that's all I'm going to say. Too much bullshit getting through. All right, what do we got? Are you just coming into the broadcast? Please hit a like for the YouTube. All right, please hit a like. I got 55 likes right now. 114 people watching. Please get those likes up to 75. The likes are free. If you are watching this on your phone, at the work computer, or on your home computer, right below the screen, please hit that share button. All right, I'm a newer YouTuber. Y'all know that. So I'm trying to get my visibility out there. Go ahead and share this out with one media outlet, i.e. Facebook, Instagram, anything you can do. Boy, y'all know how to poke the bear, don't y'all, boy? Bad part is you didn't poke a bear, you poked an ape. Y'all didn't poke a bear, you poked a fucking ape. God damn. All right, so I shared it out. Make sure you do the same. Help your brother Trigger Mike out. Share this out to one media outlet. All right. Interesting stuff going on in the YouTube street these days. For those of y'all just coming in, make sure you hit a like for the YouTube algorithm. All right. Today's topic is modern relationships are fake. There's a few things I wanted to touch on this particular topic because seen a lot of divorce activity this weekend. I know some of y'all saw it. If you know what I'm talking about, go ahead and put name drop some of the celebs that ended their relationship and or marriage or announced it this weekend. Few things I want to say on some of these topics. Few things I want to say. All right. So first topic on the docket is celebrity marriages and relationships. So basically celebrity relationships in its entirety. We have often said in these streets that these are really bad examples. These are really bad examples of the way we should conduct ourselves in relationships. Chat. We got intelligent people in the chat. We got people that know a little something about something. What are relationships about? And when I mean relationships leading up to marriage. What are relationships about? What is the purpose of a relationship? I'll wait. What is the purpose of a relationship? Definitely Jeezy. Yep. Jeezy and his wife, Jeannie Mai, announced that they were separated and he filed for divorce. A lot to speculate on that. There's a lot we could speculate on that front, but we're not going to. We can talk about it because it's all fruit from the same poisonous tree, if you really ask me. The sad part is that I get a lot of flack for being right. I get a lot of flack for being right because I'm known as cynical. I'm known as pessimistic. But at the end of the day, I'm always right. So what does that make you? Not you, the audience, but anybody who's ever contradicted me for saying that these celebrity relationships and or marriages won't last. Whoever has ever contradicted me on it. If I'm cynical, if I'm pessimistic, but I end up being right, what are you? Delusional. There's a word. The Taylors, the Shumperts. The Shumperts. I'm not going to lie. I would have wanted to get rid of that weird ass last name off my last name too. I don't blame her. I'm joking. Tiana Shumpert. Like, what the? Woo. They're going to have to change that. Woo. Man, you know, I've had an opinion about this for a really long time, but I tried to start a program, especially when everybody was getting their ancestry done. Y'all need to change y'all last name. And I know there's a lot of history behind your last name. So don't just add, know your history. It was going to be called the Mangrove Project. Mangrove tree meaning that you can pull it from its roots and put it in fertile soil of almost any kind, and it will still grow all over the world. The mangrove, you can cut it right out of its roots. It grows, I think, in brackish water. It can live in any kind of water. So I wanted y'all to get to know your history and adopt. If you're American Indian, part African, adopt an Indian last name. If you're part Nigerian, which like 90% of you are, put a one in the chat if you took your ancestry.com and it told you you were basically from West Africa, which most of you are. Let's stop the games and stop playing. Y'all need to stop saying my ancestors. Nigga, that's our ancestors. What the fuck y'all talking about? That's our ancestors. People in Africa were related to those people too, if you don't remember. The people in Africa were related to some of the slaves that got put on the ship, if you can take 2 seconds to think about it. All right. Most of y'all are West African. So you gotta adopt one of those names. Because that, like, damn, that's just like a white check. One of the biggest things I've always said is that how do we expect white people to believe? Why are we upset with white people for acting like they own us if you still carrying their last name? It's something that's really been on my mind for like damn near a decade. McMillan. Dude, black as hell. Mick, that's Irish. McMillan, you ain't no McMillan. And even though many members of your family did great things, don't ditch the last name. Just put another one on the back of it. Show your history. Woo. I mean, y'all can own the name. I know. It is your family name. And I have no doubt that many great people in your families did great things with that name. But I want you to think about it from the alternative side of what I just said. How do you expect white people to behave like they don't own you if you still wear their last name? Isn't that why the Tariq Nasheeds of the world changed their name? Muhammad Ali, isn't that why they changed their name to begin with? Isn't that a real marker of like the Nation of Islam? Get rid of your slave name. We need to start a program where that happens. What the fuck, JC? I don't want the last name Mutombo. All right, damn. All right. I'm a deadbeat, ma'am? What do you mean by that? Y'all just be saying anything in these YouTube streets. I'm a deadbeat? What does that mean? In fact, let me show you how not a deadbeat I am. Well, I'm not going to show you. But my dad is in Nigeria right now. And he sent me a picture of a street where our water factory has just finished construction. And my last name is the name of that street. So anybody you calling a deadbeat, ma'am, it ain't me. It ain't me. We creating jobs. I got a street named after me. It ain't me. But let's get back on the topic of celebrity relationships. I have been right about almost every single relationship. And it's not hard to be right because the divorce rate is extremely high. It has to be like 80 or 90% of these marriages don't make it past 5 years. 80 to 90%. $80 to 90%. They don't last, but we're here to talk about why they don't. Relationships and or marriages are supposed to be built on something far more substantial. Right now, we have relationships being formed off personal image. We got relationships being formed off aesthetics only. We got relationships being formed off the fact that she got a pretty face or big titties, and he got a nice build and some gray sweatpants. What is substantial or substantive, or what promotes longevity in a relationship such as that? Hey, I'll even say it to you. Sometimes we got relationships forming off the fact that one or the other person isn't black. So you just automatically assume they're better. Can I get a 1 in the chat if you've seen that shit? Modern relationships are fake. My heart hurts. My heart goes out to everybody who wasn't taught correctly and who hasn't sought the knowledge on how to choose the proper companion and maintain a functional and productive relationship. Do you not realize that while 99 motherfuckers are out here talking about how you can't do it, I'm the one person telling you you can? You have to follow the doctrine as written. Stop paraphrasing that shit. We all screw up. We all make mistakes. Some people cheat, male or female. Some people get lackluster for a little while. Some people get selfish for a little while. Some people neglect their duty for a time. It does not mean you throw the book out the window and start doing shit your way. They told us a long time ago how you maintain real relationships, companionships, motherhood, fatherhood, husband, wife. They told us that shit a long time ago. And y'all keep throwing the book out the window or trying to paraphrase what the hell it said. Is this not the proof that it is not working? Celebrity relationships cannot work. Every time I see a celebrity get with another celebrity and then they have a kid, I just throw my hands up. Here you have one super famous person that thrives off attention, another super famous person that thrives off attention. You put a baby in the middle, both of you are facing outward, not facing each other, neglecting each other's needs, but you think you're supposed to get a functional relationship and or marriage about that in that circumstance. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I weep for the children. Put a teardrop or a one in the chat if you just weep for the children of these broken ass relationships. What's it called? Men need to get vasectomies and women need to get tubal ligation. Do whatever you want in these streets. Nobody shall bother you. Just don't make any babies that got to suffer this shit anymore. Just don't make any more situations in which somebody's going to have to suffer for your stupidity, for your ineptitude, for your selfishness. Just don't make any more situations in which the baby's got to suffer. Y'all are always trying to make it look good for the gram. Have you ever not noticed? Go look at the timeline. I keep telling you, life is relative, y'all. Life is relative. Go look at the timeline in which people post things. Problem in the relationship, trying to leave the man, they start playing up how good of a mother they are. I do everything for my babies because they know that they're about to drop a bomb on you. They don't want you thinking that it's their fault. You can see who these people are. They're always trying to gain a social advantage. They're not actually trying to be good mothers or good fathers. They just want you to think they are. Their assistant is raising that kid. Or worse, some of these dumbass rappers having baby by these questionable baby mamas who are twerking on cam with your son in the video. Wow. Wow. These celebrity relationships don't work. It should be against the law. Because you're producing children who don't have a chance in this world now. You are putting every barrier to entry on their social life by not prioritizing staying together. Everything I hear in these streets is selfish. I won't be treated like such. You ain't about to talk to me like that. Person didn't even say nothing. It's all about demonizing the other person to make yourself look big. I watched something on Soft White Underbelly. I think it was the one they did on divorce. That one's really good. Y'all go watch that. At your leisure, go watch that. Peace. The guy is supposed to be a divorce attorney, basically sharing his opinion on modern relationships and divorce. And this guy said, go back to the time where people first met each other and they get happy. They're like, oh, yeah. You know, it was this. And they get light. They get playful. They start talking, they start talking, really lovable talk and whatnot. But then you realize that these people have been building a case against each other damn near the entire marriage. It's sad, man. I think of my marriage, no matter what goes on in my life, I think about my marriage as if I just met my wife. Do you want to know what's interesting? Chat. I'm going to ask you a question, then I'm going to read these super chats. Then I'm going to read the answers to the question. Chat. Are women as much trouble as they've ever been, less trouble than they've ever been, or more trouble than they've ever been? That's a question. Big Ant 11, $10. What up, bro, man? After this weekend, I'm thinking about moving to the west side of the moon so I can be by myself. Man, if you find a thriving civilization, let me know and send me the invoice for the shuttle. I might be right there with you. I don't want my kids near none of this shit. This is why I keep telling y'all that the black men that you don't see, and even though I don't always think it's a good thing, we've isolated ourselves a long time ago. We're not dealing with this bullshit. We left you with Pookie. Now I know why you think all men ain't shit. Because ain't no way I'm going to let my kids grow up around this delusion, this self-hatred, this misandry, this misogyny. Ain't no way I'm going to let my kids grow up around this shit. I'll off with all of your heads before I let you indoctrinate my children. Chitty, chitty, bang, bang. Just know after you try it, it's going to be a riot. A lot of you niggas die. Straight up. Don't indoctrinate my children to this toxicity. I might be right on the moon with you. Somebody got it right at least. We are savages. So why would you poke a bear or an ape? Silly logic to me. Advanced perception, $2. People forget Hollywood plays by different rules. Advanced perception, you're absolutely right about that. Let me see what we got. PRE says they're as much as there've ever been. It's just that we can see and accept they are not sweetness and light. The veil has dropped. I see it. We do see it. Cringeworthy says less. It's the children that are not safe. Big Pressure says more. Now, most men, whenever I've asked this question, more, big more, the same, more often than not, you get the same and or more. Women are more trouble than they've ever been. So why would I put myself out in this market thinking that I'm going to get anything better? Some of y'all need to start thinking like that. I'm going to make this shit work. Ain't shit out there for me. Women are just as much trouble as they've ever been, if not more. I'm not going to find better out there. The grass isn't greener on the other side. And truth be told, I don't want to build this shit again from scratch. Y'all thinking is really messed up. We live in the easy bake oven relationship generation where people think they can dump one another, even if they have children together, and just go find somebody else. Wrong. That's your family, bruh. You can't just dump that woman. That's your family. The day I watch my daughter come out of my wife's private, she my family now, bruh. That made it real for me. I mean, I watched the belly for, as long as it was big. What? They start showing a little bit. 3 months. She carried small too, right up until the end. That back hurt. That lean back hurt. I was like, ooh, this shit, boy. But the day I watched her come out of her mama's belly, it's been real for me. That's my family, bro. Stop quitting on your family, or stop creating one you don't want to deal with later. Men and women alike. Stop living your life according to these celebrity rules. It's not functional. Now, let me get to the other part of this before I let people up and bring people up into this segment. I'm going to drop the link now for those who want to come up. Traditional versus modern. Now, I have been bullied and beat up all over the YouTube streets for some of my traditional views and values. When I tell you I have dodged all that shit like Neo in the Matrix, none of y'all have touched me because I keep being right time after time after time. Y'all keep telling me, not to chat, but you know, the big ethereal y'all. Y'all keep telling me it's time for something new. I keep telling you, I'm not a traditionalist for the sake of being traditional. I'm a traditionalist because it's the only thing that works. Show me a better institution to build wealth, and that's what I'd be doing. Show me a better institution to raise your children. That's what the fuck I'd be doing. The wheel has already been built. Stop trying to reinvent that shit. Your modern style of interaction in relationships, your modern outlook does not work. What do I got to do to make y'all believe that shit? If there was a better way to do it, that's what I'd be doing. I am purpose built to follow what works. If I can get better outcomes for my children, if I can build more wealth with a different setup, if I get more notoriety, if I get a chance to be a better leader and maintain the leadership of my family in a different structure, that's what I would be doing. The traditional makeup of family is the only shit that works. Nothing. Y'all don't get it, man. Y'all don't get it. I see you in the back, Dusto. What's going on, my guy? Good. Happy Monday to you.
What's going on? Dustin crushed.
What's good with you?
One problem. Tradition is a lie. It never existed.
Right. Explain.
We got to go back to the way it was. Well, first of all, traditional times created modern times. If tradition was so great and we had all the family, everything's, the marriage rate would have went from 70 to 80 to 85 to 90 to 95. Then it went to the 20s, which must mean something was wrong. Now, somehow there's this fictional thing back in the day. The man did this and the women did the man did it. Wasn't we slaves back in the day? Didn't we have no rights as blacks? Didn't women have no rights? So what in the hell kind of foundation was there even really? Nobody even had a damn choice. Where is this tradition where all these families were thriving and cutting the grass, and where was this?
So I didn't say anything about what tradition, man. Are you saying that?
Nope, let's
so
not go
just
there.
so we're on the same page. Hold on. Just so we're
Let's
on
not
the
do the
same
African
page.
thing. Let's not even go there.
Hold on. Just so we're on the same page. Are you pro-modern relationships, meaning equal across all fronts,
No,
Like, explain your position right now.
my position is they made up this fake thing. Okay, modern is what it is. People are going and saying, well, I know what the problem is. They don't do like we did back in the day. Because back in the day, we had it together. And it's a lie. Those times created these times. The times before that created those times before. So there was never this tradition or this whole thing where all these perfect families were all doing all. No, it's a lie.
Oh,
And
so yeah,
today's times
we're not
expose that lie.
No, but we're not talking about the same thing though. So I'm not talking about tradition in that sense. I said the 5 things that you can find throughout history to confirm that human civilization lived there: birth, death, war, taxes, marriage. Not marriage meaning legal marriage, marriage being a man and a woman pair off, have children, and raise those children under his name. That's it. That's
Okay.
tradition to me. I'm not talking about Leave It to Beaver type family. That I'm not talking about that. I mean, no matter how you slice it, men and women will pair off with each other. They will have children together. A woman will want an exclusivity contract from a man, right? She's going to demand that his provision comes straight to that household, right? That's what I'm talking about. So no matter what makeup we have, that is the contract between men and women. We're going to pair off, we're going to have children, and we're going to want to raise them together for an eternity under his name. That's it.
Oh, okay. Now, as far as that, if that's what it's supposed to be, then how can I say it? People are doing what they're taught to do. Now, you can throw social media, they always use that as an excuse. But if you want relationship, marriage, all these minded people, then teach them to be relationship, marriage minded people. And the truth is, they're not being taught. They weren't. They're just not. They weren't. They're not going to be. If you go ask 20 people, hey, were you taught about communication, setting expectations, attraction, household roles, and all this stuff? Go ask 20 people that and watch what they'll tell you. Hell no. Or ask them something, they either come up with the dumb YouTube talking points that don't make sense, or the examples they have, or they talk about celebrity marriage, which is another damn lie. Meaning the foundation is about the opposite of what you're talking about. And then if you put an expectation, hey, how come nobody's getting married and everything working right? Because they're doing what they were taught to do.
All right. Dang, what's going on?
Hey, man, what's going on, man? You sounding kind of hot today, man. You was mad at something.
No.
Yeah,
Come on.
No, not you scared. I was talking to Mike.
Oh, okay.
When somebody said something about your family?
Yeah, man, they alluded to some shit. I'm not even gonna take it there because
You don't have to give me the details.
I'm gonna say all is gonna happen is somebody's gonna say I wasn't saying it like that. But you know what? A long history of dealing with people, especially people on YouTube, you got to let them know they got to be careful. I let you go down that road, you're gonna keep going down it. And I don't play those games because we all got limits. And I don't cross those boundaries with anybody. You cannot find a clip of me saying your wife ain't, your mother ain't. I don't. Those are boundaries that people are supposed to have with each other. And that's where I see red. So I'm letting you know now. The bull has been alerted. I'm out the gate now. You waving the flag, I'm gonna spear you. So that's all I'm saying.
Yeah. So back on the topic, man. Listen, we live in an era where all relationships are really just situationships. It's we're together based on this particular situation. Almost marriages have been reduced to situationships, and when a situation changes, people are, because situationship is uniquely a term I learned on these YouTube spaces. Nobody used to call them that. It was a relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. But actually, man, our modern era in the West is just all based on the situation. We'll be together. When the situation changes, we'll split. And that's what it seems like it's happening. It doesn't matter whether you said the vows or not. So and it's not just the recent events. I mean, it's that the trend is definitely that way. I mean, there's been some talk that they're going to start trying to change laws to get people to go back together by getting rid of some of these negative incentives. But, you know, I'll believe that when I see it. So I think that's where we are. You know, that's where we are.
All right. I got a question for y'all. So when we talk about relationships, and I think I've heard you actually say something like this, Scam, before. In fact, I think we've actually worked. Because I was like, I've seen Scam before. We from the same area. I was like, I've seen you plenty of times, as a matter of fact. And I think we might have worked in the same place once upon a time.
Put it in the back
health,
chat.
In the mental health field. I'm gonna put it in the back chat.
Put it in the back.
I was like, yeah, we don't want nobody looking to dig it up, no shit. But when we say the word relationships, do you know that we're really talking about all relationships? People are supposed to have a foundation for how they conduct all relationships with all people. So nobody's going to be terrible in the relationships at work, can't maintain respectful relationships with people that they don't know, in church, all of that, and just be great at their romantic relationship. You must be built from youth to be respectful, courteous, and all of these things so you can maintain good relationships with people throughout your life, in all facets of life. So I got to ask y'all, what is the foundation for a productive relationship? And I don't just mean romantic, I mean all types of relationships. Y'all got it.
Great question too. But go ahead, R-Pain. You're muted, R-Pain.
To me, it's understanding who you're dealing with. One of the things I used to do when I was working is I tried to understand, you know, what kind of personality type a person has, so I can meet them where they're at. So it's understanding the folks you're dealing with, whether it's a co-worker, whether it's an employee, whether it's a supervisor, whether it's you know, just your boys, your girlfriend or wife. You got to understand the people you're dealing with, your children, and it takes time, discernment. And you try to meet them at the level where they are. They need to be lifted up. You're supposed to be the guy giving them empathy to lift them out of the hole, you know? And you just, you know, so I always found that one of your biggest strengths is if you understand how a person operates, it gives you a subtle advantage on dealing with that person. Not to manipulate them, but you know how to maintain a boundary once you understand that. And you can stretch those boundaries the closer you get with the person. Then you can have regular conversations when you meet those people where they're at. You know, that's one of the things I thought it was always best to do. So that's my thing. Just kind of understand the people.
All right.
It's a good cornerstone in a relationship.
AP, my man, what's going on?
What's going on, brother? What's going on? How you guys doing?
All right.
Not as good as you on your way on another run. Look, I got something to say. We got so many people driving on my show that I'm starting to believe some of y'all work for them boys and y'all moving hella weight through these streets. I'm just saying, right? Because there's no way y'all putting miles on road, boy. I tell you. But what you got, AP? You got the question?
Yeah, I got the question. So I believe every relationship is built on direct, honest communication. That's the number one foundation to every relationship. And you must understand the other party in the relationship, whether it's work, whether it's
Oh, you breaking
and
up, or is
where
that
they're
me?
coming from. Well, am I still breaking up?
Yep.
I'm gonna come right back.
No doubt. All right, Dusto, you got?
Actually, he said almost word for word. I was going to start with communication.
Yeah.
But also, and what R-Pain said, meeting people where they at. You need to know who people are. You need to effectively communicate to be able to build an effective relationship. Communication meaning understanding, meaning active listening. If you look at most people, the need for people to actually be able to be heard is just insane right now. Even if people don't even know what they're talking about, they want to be heard so bad. But it's an actual need. Like they can't function. People got all kind of drama. They need to be heard. They need to be talked to. They need to be guided. But that's aside from that. Some kind of foundation as far as an understanding. Like, I'm this person, you're this person. How can we come together? Understanding of teamwork, understanding of values, understanding the compromise. And then it's going to come back to communication, because when things aren't going the way they're supposed to, how do we communicate so we can get it back on track? I'll just leave it at that.
All right. So I'm gonna take it. Y'all said one of the biggest ones, right? Which is communication. So I'm gonna actually go with the other two that I'm kind of like hot potato in right now. I think all relationships are built off mutual respect and reciprocity. So I have not seen a relationship work or be balanced without those two things. If one person or if it doesn't have respect for the other, the relationship is imbalanced. If one person isn't putting the effort the other person is putting in, the relationship is imbalanced. Mutual respect for me is big in all relationships of my life. I can honestly say I have never had like a bad interaction. Like, I don't know if y'all do this, but this is something I do. Every time I go to a store, if I go to Nordstrom, Foot Locker, buying my son some sneakers, something, I look at the customer service ability of the kids working in there. And let me tell you, kids are screwing up our image every day in these type of environments. They don't know how to talk to people because they don't have mutual respect for anybody. I can tell you, when I was young like that, I had the utmost respect for everybody, even the people that were being rude to me. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Right away. I respected people's time. I respected people's effort. And I always realized that energy that they're giving me, they deserve back, in any way I could give it. That is something that this generation is missing, especially these Gen Z people. I read an article about maybe 2 weeks ago that said Gen Z is the worst at this type of stuff. They do not see the value in mutual respect. Somebody told them, of course, we know how this narrative started, that respect isn't given, it's earned. So they don't think they need to go the extra mile to communicate properly with anyone, to make eye contact with you while they're talking to you. None of that. And I feel like that is going to lead them into a life and a domino effect of bad relationships down the line. Y'all got it.
I got pushback. If the kids, like you just talking about, the kids have no respect, where'd they learn that from?
Ooh, wait, good question.
Ooh, but hold on.
Hold on. So you're saying they were 4, 5, 7, 12, and they just all of a sudden clicked and said, "Hey, let me go search for this thing called disrespect and implement it." Or was it something that was taught and it was right next to them with their parents?
I'm tracking. Hold on. I'm tracking.
Which is in a different generation.
Hold on. I'm tracking with what you're saying because many of them weren't taught. So that's a subsector. That's a group of the people I'm talking about. But I will tell you that there are people who actually learned how to give respect. They grew up with two parents. They're even respectful in their own house. They code switch like that way. But they have adopted a method of disrespect outwardly to people outdoors.
Do you know why that is?
Yeah, go ahead.
They didn't have a choice. So if you beat it into them and force people to do one thing, there's a population when they turn 18 and they get to make their own decision because they never bought into it to begin with. They're acting off of force. They're going to show you who they really are when they turn 18, 19, 20. And it ain't going to be the person that you tried to beat it into, which means it wasn't taught.
No, I'm
taught
not even
is when people do things by choice, not by force.
Well, I believe there's another aspect to this. Am I breaking up or am I good?
You're good.
There's another aspect to this. It's the self-serving aspect. And what I mean by that is
you're breaking up now.
To go outside in order to get, like, I'm passing the airport. Give me one sec. Sorry. How about now? Every time I pass the airport, it cuts out. Are we good?
You're good.
You good?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're good.
So these kids, they haven't had to communicate the way we had to communicate face to face. They have the ability to, I don't want to use the word hide, but basically hide behind the keyboard and always be able to say exactly what they thought, exactly how they feel, never had to filter any of that. Thus, they never had to truly foster any good relationships with people because they don't typically have any except for immediate family. So when you take a look at that, and then you put these kids in the workforce, they don't learn it until they get in the workforce and somebody straightens them up. But another thing that they're doing is if they feel, and I'm putting quotation marks around that, feel disrespected even in the workplace, these kids quit. They will quit their job. They give zero notice because everything, their world, their entire lives have revolved around them. So they just never learned the skills. Aside from the parents' piece, they never really learned the skills to properly communicate in dialogue outside of a video game or online room.
I got more pushback. So if the parents were super respectful, because they don't leave a house, and they got their parents and their brother and sister, everything in that house would be nothing but respect. They're telling me all they know is respect because they're just online here and there. And then those other kids that are online with them, they're in households where the parents are nothing but respectful. Almost like everyone speaks English. If everyone speaks English, how does somebody just all of a sudden start speaking Spanish? So if everybody's respectful in the house and that's all they know, where are they going where they're just finding this disrespect? Got to come from somewhere. So that must mean the parents, the other generations, somebody's disrespectful. And if you go on social media, which is everybody's favorite source, you'll find 30, 40, and 50-year-old disrespectful people, just like these panels. What do you think their kids are going to do? Where's the disrespect being learned? Where is it that you hear stuff like just kids, 8, 9, 10 years old, I'll beat the black off of you? Where do they learn stuff like that?
So again, you are definitely speaking to a subset of this generation, but I think this particular generation has a theme of disrespect. It doesn't matter.
Where they got that from.
I know it doesn't matter what their background is. What I'm telling you is that they choose, if they had the ability to choose to be respectful, choose to adopt the traditional doctrine and method of dealing with your elders, so on and so forth, they will choose to behave as if they don't care, as if that person doesn't deserve it. So I don't think it's a sign always of just somebody's upbringing, because definitely what you're saying is true, but that's a subset of people. We know that we cannot expect from them what is not taught. That part I agree with. But
the elders are disrespectful.
I've seen that from everybody.
But, just a little disingenuous argument, Dusto. I mean, every generation has a different flavor to it. If you look at it from the greatest generation to silent baby boomers, which everybody blames everything on the baby boomers, except giving them credit for all the technology that we enjoy today, and that movement into the technology age. So there's flavors to this thing, so there's some unique shit from in every generation. You pass down what you can. Like, I was older when I had my kids. One of my kids is a millennial and the other one's a Gen Zer. So they've always been respectful, but that was one of my things because, I wanted to make sure my kids didn't whine and they always treated people nice, but I can't speak for all baby boomers or Gen Xers. Like I said, I agree with Mike. So the subset of what you're saying is true. But, when I was young, we had cartoons that we used to watch, Space Ghost and all that shit. And we didn't have as much stimulus coming to us that we had to get protected from. These millennials and these Gen Zers got shit coming to them from all angles. They got influences coming to them from all angles, regardless of what you try to teach them. So you can do your best to put them on a straight and narrow. So it's not like you're wrong, but you're not 100% right. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
You know,
every
and
time
there's
you
a lot of
shame the men,
disrespectful adults. Yeah, yes, there are. So I mean,
just
yeah. So that's
understand
what you do.
every time you shame the millennials and shame, that's disrespect. These kids, them people, that's disrespect right there.
Yeah, but that still doesn't, change the argument that you had, those are words. I mean, listen, I'm a baby boomer, man. The shit that everybody says, I should hate the angry man after he finished talking about baby boomer shit, man. I want to go jump off a roof. I destroyed the whole goddamn world, as far as he's concerned. So listen, and I don't buy all that shit. There's some great baby boomers, innovators, and all that shit. But I'm closer to a Gen
I
Xer
agree.
anyway.
There's
So
good and bad and all. You're correct. Good and bad and all, but it's just not like they just woke up and said, "Hey, we're going to be disrespectful."
and nobody's
That's all
arguing
I'm
that. I
saying.
mean, I think you're right to an extent, but I don't think it's the whole story. I think Mike is closest to what's really.
Well, I also don't think we're acknowledging that there's a cool factor involved here. Like if you take the black community, for example, the I don't give a fuck narrative is cool. I don't give a fuck about nothing. All y'all niggas can get it. That's adopted. That's not necessarily taught. People adopt that shit as a culture. That's what I'm alluding to. They adopt that shit. Just disrespect to authority. That's really what it is. A disrespect and dislike of authority was indoctrinated in a lot of people, whether they had two parents at home or not. It's just what's cool to do nowadays. That's where I'm coming from.
No, that's not correct.
Hey, wait a minute. If you're a game in the 2023 or even the online gaming has kind of changed everything. If you would listen to the amount of shit talking that is on a video game when it's Call of Duty, Battlefield, whatever it is, like the type of personality that an online gamer has versus the real world. I mean, it's ratchet, it's rancid, it's full of like a lot of disrespect. It's like you suck, you ain't this, you ain't that, da. So yeah, and you're talking about a group full of 16 to 32 per lobby. So yeah, there's a lot of trash talk within just the gaming environment. Yeah, that's going to spill out and translate into the real world too. And it's not the parents who teach this. The parents are sitting there saying, yeah, son, go ahead and tell him. Nah, I mean, it's not like that at all.
So where did the words come from? The disrespectful words that they're using on these gaming techniques.
Mm-hmm.
Where did they come from?
Oh, man, that's pop culture. You can hear the first thing that anyone hears or learns as far as even speaking a new language is the cuss words or the bad words.
No, what I'm saying is they came from somewhere. And then it's always the music.
I don't know if the music is number one. I mean, I would say yes, but not everything's music. There's so much selection out here. Which song do you blame? Which genre?
No, what I'm saying is
which artist?
It's a narrative as if the parents did everything perfect and they never said a cuss word in their life and they nurtured, and then all of a sudden a kid hit a switch and said, I'm going to be disrespectful.
No parent is perfect, and there's no such thing as perfect parenting, right? It's just how bad did you screw up on this child? And some parents don't screw up on their children at all. Some children want for nothing. You know what I find kind of interesting though? The ones who have the most resources can kind of be more disrespectful, while those who are kind of poor and have to kind of, navigate society differently can come up with the most respect.
That's a narrative, but it could be true, yeah. But resources and respect are two totally different things.
They are, but and obviously there's no correlation, because people who have a lot of money tend to be more disrespectful, while people who don't tend to be more respectful. On average.
So what you're saying is, if you want to be respected, go to the poorest economies, and you're going to get lots of respect over there.
No, that's what you're saying.
But no, that's what you just said.
No, it isn't what I just said. That's what you're saying. I didn't
You're
say
saying
any
the
of that.
poor people have more respect. That's what you said.
Yeah.
And the richer people are more disrespectful.
Yeah, on average.
Therefore, those of you who want to be respected and treated, go to the worst jacked up neighborhood. You'll be respected and treated very kind.
That's what you're saying. That's what you're saying.
That's based off
No
of
one
what
ever.
you just said.
You're drawing a conclusion, your own conclusion. That's not what I said at all. I mean, just I mean, you have to consider public school versus private school. Private schools are gonna get always either painted or stereotyped as stuck up rich kids that have no respect for the common person, while the common person who is not of means or maybe below average of means have grown up a certain type of way to where they have to navigate spaces differently in order to make it in life.
If that's the case, would you opt to send your kids to a public school or private school?
Public. Never
Okay.
private. Never private. Some things money can't buy, and that's class.
You could pay for school, but you can't buy class.
Exactly.
Let's get some other people in here.
So you get the class. Well, yeah, I'll share the mic.
I could. Oh,
yeah, I was going to say Egan is driving, so we know that's exactly what he's doing at this time. My man JT, welcome.
What's going on, bro? What's going on, everybody on the panel?
Oh, we chilling.
Good, JT.
What's going on, boy? It goes to when we talking about these children, man. It goes to what Trigger Mike was just hitting on. Their concept of respect. That concept that they have where you have to give respect to get respect. It's a bullshit concept. The concept should be you lose respect because it's common.
I agree.
I'm neutral.
It's a common thing. Respect, you respect people that you just don't know. It's like courtesy. It's common. And then you lose it from there. Everybody starts out on an A until you show me something different. So when Mike, when you was talking about these kids being in these public spaces, whether it's restaurants, whether they're selling shoes or whatever it is, a lot of them, they have no manners when it comes down to it. They know nothing. They just there for a paycheck. They're not there to get they're not there to earn what we would call back in the day, what we would call experience, in the workforce. That's the purpose of, getting your first job at McDonald's, or it used to be anyway, Burger King or whatever it is so you can get some type of experience of how a corporation is ran and where you fit in. I know when my first job in the public working at McDonald's, I knew working there for 3 years from 2 years, 16 to 18, I knew I'd never do that again, but I got a lot of experience from it. I understood exactly what I needed to do when it comes down to having getting up in the morning or getting up after school or something like that, so I can, do what I need to do to take care of myself. I didn't have to work. I didn't. My parents did a really good job taking care of me. But by the time I got to be 16, man, it was a rite of passage. It was I got my license at 16. I ended up, getting a job. I took pride in that. I took pride in taking care of myself. Nowadays, you don't have children that's going into teenhood that even take pride in taking care of themselves. That's why they stand. That's why they stay with their parents, not going to college, not getting a job by the time they're 21. They just right in the hood, up under the roof of normally it'll be their mama. And they'll be doing that until they 30, 40 years old. Or until mama dead. You know what I'm saying?
I definitely got pushback for that.
So do I.
I land right there.
The pushback is the same argument that that my boy Scam was just saying. That's on the parents. That's not the kid issue. That part is a parent issue. You have to instill those values in your kids and you at some point as a parent will have to say, yo, you got to go figure this thing out. So I think that would be more indicative of the parent than the kid. But I still believe in today's society, when we talk about cultivating relationships, these kids don't have the skills. And the reason they don't have the skills is because they didn't really need to get or hone in on those skills, because everything now is at your fingertip. Everything now is so what's the word? I can get it right now. I can obtain it right now. I don't need to learn that skill set. Our generation and the boomers have made life so easy for these kids that they don't have to learn any of the skills necessary in order to be a successful adult. And by the time they learn it, it's a little late. So if you go inside of a place hoping to get great customer service from any of these kids, you can go ahead and cancel that notion, because they're not going to give it to you because they never had to learn it. And I'll land right there.
You do understand, you do understand also that, I mean, that's not an argument whether it's on the parents, because that's a part of our being parents, that you know, if you want to see how well you're doing, you can actually look at how your kids are doing, how well they're doing, right? But it's at a time when we get older that either you got it or you don't, and don't nobody care about if your parents did or did not give you those teachings. You 30 years old, who cares about that? If you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing by the time you're 25 years old and you out here in this world, the world is about to show you some shit. It's about the world is the one that's going to be, you know, chastising you, whether you going to jail or whatever. So yes, I can agree that it's the parents' fault in a lot of these cases, but who cares after that? Who cares about the children once they're not children anymore? So I get it, but at some point, think about this. Most of us understand how much we've grown as adults once we start seeing how different we think than our parents. At some point, we have to evolve our thinking. We can't keep blaming our parents. That don't do anything for you in life.
No,
So
JT,
at some point you do have to evolve in your thinking.
See,
And sometimes,
agree with
oh,
you.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I agree with what you're saying, but according to your previous argument, when you were talking about, you know, them being 21 and still at home and still living under the parents, that is the parents' responsibility to go ahead and push them out. But what I've seen a lot of is a lot of this coddling and constant nurturing, and they don't get any of that pushback from whether it's a single home or a two-parent home. They don't get any of that pushback for the realities in life. Thus, sometimes they learn it a little late, and the parents have to put it. Like I think as a parent, at some point, you have to put them out. You have to push them out.
Yeah, but that age when you push them out is also environment dependent. Like today, the way the economy is, the way things are, I think it's a mistake pushing your kids out at 18 or 21, depending on where they are, maturity-wise, and ready for the world. Like,
I'm starting to see why they're disrespectful. Terms like modern,
let me
push them out.
Let me just finish what I'm saying.
Go ahead.
I'm just saying, like for me, it's anecdotal experience, and I think the foreign people would not understand this a little bit, because some kids stay with their family until they're ready to leave. Now, that's different than being a failure. That's different than having a failure to launch. Like after my kids were educated, there's a couple of things I told them. I said, you got a small window to begin to make your mark. When I send you to college, they're 18 to 22 years old. You got to pass through that window so you can get to the other side, because your job is to be able to take care of yourself. But once they graduated, they came back home, whether they had a job or not. And I wanted them to come back here so I could set them up properly, so when they leave, they don't have to look back. So they were able to have that window to save money and learn how to invest money and set themselves up for the future. Now, I had girls, and I would have preferred that they didn't leave my house until they got married. But my oldest left, and she's not married. But my youngest is back here, and she's building her career while we meet quarterly to look at her finances, how she's moving forward. And then hopefully a man takes her off of my shoulders. So, and for men, it's a different thing. If I had sons, I would probably be setting them up to do the same thing until they're ready. And if they had pushback and I want to be on my own, then I'd let them leave. But I want them to be ready for the world. And I think that's important. Now, I had to leave at 18, 17 because I had to get the hell out of my house because there was nothing but women in there. It was driving me crazy, God damn it. So, so it's different for everybody. But that was in the 70s when I left. So it was a different time. Anyway, so let me just leave that there.
No, my argument is the language that's being, no millennials or Zs or whatever generation have popped up on this panel. I don't think so. I think we're all old and ugly. But everything in the conversation has been disrespectful towards that generation.
Really?
Before they even popped up. So what energy do you expect to come back? These people,
so
them young
point,
people,
hold on.
They won't push them out.
Hold on. At what point are you allowed to critique what people do? Or is it just disrespectful to critique anybody? In their behavior?
You know what? Keep talking to them any kind of way. Keep telling them.
Did anybody curse at them? Did anybody curse at them?
Yes.
No, I'm just talking about the energy.
That's
the energy, and they haven't even clicked the link yet. You've already said they're not, they won't, they can't, push them out. In our pain, I love what you was talking about, the family thing. I'll talk to you about that some other day on another panel. That's some great stuff. But they've already been attacked 15 times. They ain't even clicked the link. And even without saying, they sense your energy when you walk up to them. From the eye contact, the way you look at them, the way you're talking to them, they know. So if you want them to respect you, why not respect them first?
I'm sorry. I wholeheartedly disagree.
I as well. Children have to learn.
I third that motion.
We're not talking about. No, we're talking about children. For example,
they don't respect the kids either. Let's be real.
For example, like every now and again, I keep that number very few. Very small for a reason. But always when we first meet, I always talk to them. I said, hey, ask questions. What's the issue? What do you need help with? What areas do you think you're weak at? I ask them questions because I'm letting them critique themselves. Mm-hmm. And as we go along, I'll tell them later what I see. It's the way you do things. It's not. The thing is, what I think what Scam and I are both trying to tell you is that it's not your intentions that we're calling into question. It's the way you present it and the way you postulate yourself in front of them. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's the way. It's your posture. It's your tone. It's your energy. It's the presentation that instantly throws people off. And once someone's thrown off, y'all on panels all the time. This is my first time up here on Lapeef, but you know full well when someone comes up there with the wrong energy, everybody's ears turn off. They don't hear a word of what that person says.
Look at the title of the show.
Right. They completely miss the point. The second they show up, you know what I mean, and start talking crazy stuff, everyone turns their ears off. No one's exempt from that. And the thing is, when you talk about young people, these are people who are just trying to figure the world out and try to make it day by day. So you can't present to them with aggression like that. Not off the gate.
I will say that we live in a sensitive ass time. If anybody thinks what has been set up here,
you're doing it right now,
kind of aggressive.
No, I'm not saying what you're doing. No, I'm not saying what you're doing today is aggressive, Trigger Mike. I'm saying that I do see that a lot. Oftentimes, it's the wrong approach that people.
You're saying in general.
It's not, in general. It's not necessarily. Yeah, it's not necessarily. Aggressive, but it could be.
Let me
take a smart aleck approach or whatever the case may be.
Right.
It's just.
And I'm exaggerating to prove the point.
Let me get the opposite. Okay, let me get the opposite. I believe so. There's balance needed in all things. All right, but I believe the opposite is that if you don't go to them, exerting your authority, then you get walked all over. All right. So, and I don't mean authority isn't yelling at them or aggression. What I mean is, I am your elder. Stop talking while I'm talking. That is what, when we had that going on in the community, children knew and respected their elders and knew to take that. No. Yes, they did know to.
It caused the problem right there.
No, it did
That's
not.
the problem.
No, it did not.
Okay,
what children are doing, hold on. What children are doing today is disrespecting their elders because they know somebody's going to stand in the way and tell them we shouldn't talk to them like that.
Right.
Okay.
Y'all are basically
coddling. Too much coddling.
No, here's the thing.
Y'all are giving them
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Hold on, y'all. Y'all are giving them a sense of entitlement against us. I'm gonna tell this old person.
No, the elders are asking for a sense of entitlement, and they're not going to get it.
Gonna come through and hold them back while I get to talk shit to them.
Oh, no, here's the thing, Trigger Mike. What Scam said is actually kind of true. Here's the thing. Let's say you mentor someone who's 22, right? Let's say you do that, Trigger Mike. You have to understand that that's still a full-grown man. You now have to meet that person as a grown man. Yes, you are his elder, but keep in mind, he doesn't owe you a yes, sir anymore. He's not 10.
That's incorrect. Hold on.
He's not 10. He doesn't owe you anything.
Even if he's 10, he doesn't owe it to you.
Let me
when you don't respect them. But the fact that he's saying they owe you something, they don't even know you.
Oh, hold on. You said the word mentor. And this is very interesting because this is the way I looked at it while I was crossing my frat. Or I'm sorry, this is the way I was taught. Anybody can be an infant in a grown body. I am well read in whatever my master's degree is in. But if I go trying to learn how to do speech therapy, I am now a novice. So the person who must now counsel me on how to do that profession is the elder. They're the elder mentally. They're the more mature version.
Yeah.
So I must listen to their tutelage and respect them as the master because I am the novice. That is the undertone of how we used to guide society. The fact that these young kids call older people by their first name, that's how I know they got us fucked up.
Well, here's the thing. If you don't want to be addressed that way, tell them how you like to be addressed. And you know what I'm saying? You don't have to get because I see people do it too. Like, what's wrong with you calling me that? Don't come by my first name. I'm not your fucking friend, blah, 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 right? And they go this real aggressive tone, and then you see the other person, you see it in their eyes. It's like, and so they might address you the way you want to be addressed, but in their mind, they've lost respect for you. They're not going to take in the information you give them. Now,
hold on. Let's level set here. Let's level set here a little bit because I'm not advocating for talking to kids any kind of way. And really, we can't assume that anybody here on this panel does. Like, literally, we are courteous people. We go to everybody with respect. We go, with courtesy. What I'm saying is that even with that, you will get disrespect. They won't listen. They won't use so you can pander to them and their motives. Like, we're acting like people have the ability to respond to respect. No, they respond to respect with disrespect. That's what I'm saying. No matter how you present to them, we have a culture of disrespect. We have a culture of anti-intellectualism. We have a culture of crossing and feeling entitled against your elders. Right. That is a culture thing now.
Well, good afternoon, guys. Good afternoon, guys.
Good afternoon, Nick.
I'm going to comment on that so that I can go inside the hospital and see my wife. Let me put it this way, right? When I first came to this country, there is something that I noticed. When you walk into a bus, right, the kids are sitting down whereas the elders are standing up. In where are we from? Which I know it used to be like this here. When somebody older than you steps into anywhere, you that is the youngest person stands whereas so that the elders can sit. The culture is just messed up. It's very bad. I'm sorry, guys. It's very bad. You can't have a 3-year-old child sitting down while a 30-year-old man or 40-year-old man is standing up. You come into a bus or into anything or into a hospital, they make the elder people, the grown folks to stand while the kids sit down. That is where the disrespect and uncultural attitude starts. That's where kids get to see that, oh shit, I'm the prize. I'm the person that has to be respected. I'm not supposed to give respect. Respect is supposed to be given to me as a child. An adult has to earn that respect. Growing up as a little kid, when adult walks into any room and I'm there, I stand up right away. Even I still have that habit up to today. One thing I'm not doing is that I'm not going to stand up for your untrained child. I'm not going to do that because your untrained child is supposed to stand up for me, not me stand up for the child. So it's very bad how we make kids entitled, and like I've always said, fucked up parents have fucked up kids. I've always said it. We need to change this culture of respecting kids while kids don't respect adults. And Trigger Mike, I don't bow under pressure, right? No.
Yeah.
We have to talk to kids anyhow.
Mandrell, check
That's
the
what we do. We have to talk to kids anyhow. Because when I was growing up as a little child, I was talked to anyhow, and I was whooped anyhow. Because when I make a mistake, I get the consequences. You don't give respect to a child that doesn't have respect, and then we'll be like, oh, we can't talk to them anyhow. No.
So this is my ultimate point, man, because I really don't get it. I really don't get it. In this country, we sound so absolute about our methods and the stuff that we allowed to happen as if our kids are shining beacons of light for the rest of the world. We have the worst children and adolescents, behavior-wise, in the world. We do. We do.
Of course, we do. We do 100%.
We have no
you
leg
see the disrespect, Mandrell?
Yeah.
Is it so?
This
So
is
is it
disrespect
disrespect?
That's why you guys have disrespect kids. If you said I would disrespect
Okay,
it,
you know what?
that's
Hold
why
on,
you
hold on.
guys said
Hold on.
disrespect.
That is the motion on the table. American kids are the most disrespectful kids on earth. Disprove my statement. Anybody?
I've been to 3
Trigger
countries in
Mike,
Africa. I've been to 3
you're
countries in
disrespecting
Africa
the kids right now.
where the kids are way more disrespectful.
Wait, you have to debunk the point. Debunk the point.
The point. I've been to 3 countries in Africa where the kids are
Name
far
it.
more disrespectful than over here.
Name the country.
Well, I'm not going to name
Okay,
the country.
if you don't want the
Oh,
kids,
yeah.
Wait, bigger,
Stop
bigger.
disrespecting
Wait. Let's not do this thing where I've been somewhere and therefore, because we're talking about an entire generation of kids. We're not talking about a few of them in the mall. We're talking about a generation of kids who did not that did not grow up on Sesame Street, that did not grow up with Mr. Rogers. Please, thank you. You're welcome. Excuse me. Hold the door open. All of those things were taught in public early TV programming that everybody can remember to this day. So respect is about manners and mannerisms, and that's how you kind of build currency and relationships between people that maintains years, decades.
Now, I have something for you. You're absolutely right. Who taught them or didn't teach them these lessons?
We've already went around that. We already addressed that.
Well, then how are you blaming the kids for anything? For being
Hold on, y'all.
Go ahead, Mike.
Somebody asked me to substantiate my claim that American kids are the worst, and this actually goes to the point Mandrell is trying to make. American kids are the worst because we have the highest divorce rate per capita. Period. The more kids that do not grow up outside of a stable home, the more maladjusted kids you will have. It is simple. Per capita, a country of this size, go anywhere, we have the highest rate of divorce, all right, and or parents who were never married. Therefore, the children will not be raised the way they're supposed to behave. They will suffer from the most social, emotional, and behavioral deficits more than every other child on earth. Is that good enough for a substantiation?
Okay, Trigger Mike, here's the deal. If that's a complaint, stop participating in it. How you gonna make the kids make the disrespect and then complain about the disrespect? Just like
why do you keep saying complain? Why do you keep saying complaining when we're just pointing out what the problem is, bro? It's not like it doesn't exist.
You're not pointing out the problem, though, JT. He's not.
But the source of the problem is
the problem is
okay. Look, we already understand. This is. Did y'all read the title?
Let's focus on that. The source of the problem is the adults. Why are we not going after the adults? Why are we going after the
because
children?
You can't go after something
right now.
Hold on.
Okay, there's disrespectful people on the panel right now towards the kids. They're up here right now.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about, bro.
You're making a statement.
We pointing out that there's hold on, Mandrell. What we're saying is that it is a problem. Now we can get to the source, but the thing is that it's not about who you go after. What we're doing is we're showing that, listen, it is a symptom of what the reality is. Men and women don't know how to have great relationships with one another. And the symptom now that we have is that we have disrespectful children. That is a symptom that is of a bigger problem. But it's not like he's not saying that that's not what's happening. So how you explain to me, how do you go after the parents then?
Well, here's the thing. Here's what
Y'all
my
are-
confusion is. Well, my confusion
Right
lies,
go ahead, Mandro.
yeah, my confusion lies in, okay, we've identified the problem, and the problem ain't the children. Why are we not solving for the problem?
Well, the
That's
problem
what my
is the children,
confusion is.
because the children, listen, the problem is that still going to be the children,
Hold on,
because the
hold on,
children
hold
are
on,
not
hold on.
children.
Hold-
The children
hold
are
on,
not.
JT.
Oh, go.
Hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
Hold on, JT. So this is a common question we
Oh
come
my
across.
God.
This is a common question we come across a lot. So have you not noticed that there is no solving? So let's say in my profession, I'm a problem solver. Most people who have done management in any effect, one of your duties is problem solver. This is a short model on how you solve a problem. Identify the problem, accept and acknowledge, then start creating solutions. If you cannot understand that we are still in the identification phase, we're trying to identify it. Y'all won't accept it.
We've identified
we
it.
can't get to
We've
a solution.
identified it.
We've identified the problem. That's what I'm telling
you. Won't
you.
accept it. You won't accept it.
I've accepted
We
it.
told
I'm
you
ready
the
to move
problem
on to
was.
problem solving.
You did wait.
We
You
have
just
not-
said adults and parents were the problem, and the problem is disrespectful children.
There, because the parents,
wasn't just
the
parents.
parents and the adults are
It's the,
the cause.
it's the generation. It's the
hold on,
elders.
y'all. Hold on, y'all. We
That's
and
the
all
crux.
parties.
That's the
We and all
root
parties
cause.
involved. Hold on.
Uh-huh.
This is what has the black community in essence at a standstill.
Okay.
We and all parties involved are still in the acknowledgement phase. Nobody wants to acknowledge what the fuck they did wrong in its entirety. Therefore, you cannot move to the solution phase until then. That's
Trigger Mike. We've identified the problem. Y'all are doing it right now, disrespecting the children, complaining about it. Then you say, "Oh, Africa, we's respectful. America's a problem." But you live in America.
What are you talking about? What do you mean?
It's already been identified.
Mischaracterization.
It's
How's it
already
a
been
mischaracterization?
identified.
All right.
Then, as usual,
Hold on real quick.
blame
Let
the
me
children and single moms some kind of way.
acknowledge. You see what I'm saying?
Somehow single
You're still
moms is
stuck in
coming
the
up.
acknowledgement phase. Hold on. Let me get this super chat.
This is why the queen makers are ragdolling y'all. This.
Advanced perception, $2. Children's disrespect went up when CPS was created. I also wanted to acknowledge this, where American Negro says public school, there's a direct route to jail. I would say the only reason I brought that up is because I would say public school with low funding is a direct route to jail. That I'm not even gonna say inner city. There's some inner city charter schools and public schools that do quite well in some areas, but public school with low funding and low parent participation is a direct route to jail. Because the public school in my area is better than the private school. The public school and charter schools are better than the private school.
Doesn't that mean the parents need to be active? Doesn't that mean the parents are the problem?
I just said high parent participation, good funding from the tax dollars. You will have a good public school. I've seen it, and my children have gone to public school. They go to charter school now, but still.
Okay, Trigger Mike, exactly. You helping make my point is that okay, the more active the adults are in these kids' lives, then the better they are, and the less active they are in the kids' lives.
I never disagree with that.
Right. So why are we still on the children? Let's tackle the problem. And the problem is not the children. That's what I said. I was confused. I was like, no, why are we still on the kids then? Why is that still even a subject? We've identified what the problem is. It's the adults are not teaching their kids.
Hang on, because the children that are disrespectful grow up into the workplace and bring that rude, disrespectful behavior to the workplace. And how do you expect them to be successful in any environment that is serious about business or commerce or corporate environments when you have disrespectful young people that think that they're entitled to have a better raise or a better outcome, but don't know what the problem is?
Okay, well, that's why we make sure that the kids today get the lessons they need from somewhere, if not from their parents.
Lessons come with consequences, and if you remove consequences, nobody is motivated to do better or to act better.
Oh, I'm not saying remove consequences at all.
Yeah, can we recalibrate?
Well, you're saying that the problem are the parents, and it's not the parents. It's the it's the consequences.
No, the problem is the parent.
Wait a minute. Why can't we just recalibrate the
All right, let me ask a question. Let me ask so we don't go down the rabbit hole. Hold on, Ben. Let me rephrase the question a little bit. So the question was, what is the foundation for a productive relationship? But I want y'all to answer this one next. Aside from family, mother, father, grandma, grandpa, aside from family, what are the most important relationships a person should have in their life?
With their siblings.
Like you said, outside of family. Outside of family.
Outside of family.
What are the most impactful relationships a person should have in their life?
Teachers.
They're the number one I would say is a best friend.
Teachers, I say.
But because a best friend, you tell your best friend things that you're not allowed to tell your family, your friends, your teachers. Your best friend is your best confidant.
So when the best friend goes
I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna agree with Mandrell on this one.
That ain't your best friend.
I'm gonna agree with Mandrell in a sense that I guess it's the school community, not just the teachers, but it's those classroom relationships. That's where they spend 8 hours of their day.
Yeah,
maybe more.
So the thing that really, I did not feel this until I became a parent. That anxiety you get that if somebody's mistreating my child and they don't bullying my child and they don't say nothing for months or years, the psychological effect that can happen, that lets me know that those relationships are just as impactful as the relationship they have with me. And sorry, just one more thing. It says that the number one indicator that a child will be successful throughout their life is their zip code. So that group of people in your zip code go to school with you. They're zoned to the same
peers.
school.
That's your peers.
Yeah, there you go.
That's your peers. So that's very true. Your peers matter. Your peers
one
matter.
question.
But at every level.
Go ahead, Arpane.
Right? Because when you're a kid, your peers are at a certain level. When you get older, your peers should elevate just like you. So that's why we tell people you are who you hang. You're like who you hang out with. And if your kid, and everybody's not going to take the right road. So some of your peers change as you grow.
Trigger, I got to get off and come back so that you can reconnect me, okay?
Whether you're a leader or a follower, that matters. And so I agree with you. So it's your environment that helps shape you. That's where you have to form some relationships from the beginning when you're young. So, but still, we go back to who gives your initial ability for the discernment you need to pick your peers, right? So I agree. That's why this conversation is crazy, because some of the elements come from your parents, and some of them you have to have on your own, and you have to develop, right? Because you don't get taught everything like a cookbook. Some things you have to extrapolate in your life. I don't know why I didn't go put graffiti on the trains when all my friends were doing it, or some of them joined gangs. I did. Maybe I was just too chicken shit to do that. But when we played basketball, we used to go around to every neighborhood and challenge the kids in those neighborhoods. Sometimes we had to run home. Sometimes we had to fight. So, but the point I'm just saying is a lot of these things, you can't separate them. So that's why this argument is crazy, because everybody's right in their own element. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, parents, I'm a baby boomer. Everybody says we coddled our kids too much, right? That's what they tell me. Or we ignore them, one of those things. So it depends on who you're talking about. Gen Xers have their thing. Millennials have their things. There's good and bad going through the whole lineage.
I had a question for Trigger Mike.
The greatest generation, you hear the books, they were the greatest people on face of the earth.
And they were probably the worst when we talk about generations.
So anyhow, let me just leave it there. But the peers, Mike, to answer your question, I think your peers is a great part of your relationships, bro.
Yeah, Trigger Mike, I got a question.
Yep.
Well, I'm not friends with any of my peers from back then. Even as a teenager, I don't talk to anyone that I was friends with as a teenager. So how's that an important relationship? But I do remember teachers.
You changed.
Hold on. I think it's damn. Chris Rock even said something in one of his specials where he was. I don't think he was joking, because he said you can't get rid of bullies because bullies do have to work. You know what I mean? Like school and that environment that you're in, it does a lot of your growing up. You grow up, you go through trials, you go through bad relationships, breakups, rejection. You go through all of that in that peer group. So as long as it's happening in a healthy way and not in a destructive or psychologically abusive way, they make up a lot of who you are. So you're right, but we change, I think, friend groups every 5 to 10 years. I'm like Facebook friends with some people I went to high school with, but I'm not calling them when I go to homecoming to chill. You know what I mean? So I get what you're saying, though, man, Dro. Go ahead.
Trigger, I got a question. Okay, supposedly, and it's kind of what Ekene was saying, the elders want respect from the elders are somewhat entitled, or they want respect from the youngsters, as if 40-year-old guy and a 16-year-old guy, he's automatically owed respect because he's an elder. Which never said he has to be respectful or he has to present himself or there's no standard. All he has to do is be older and he's entitled to respect, which means it's respect by a position. And the position is not actually documented. It's just there. And because someone taught them that that's what they're supposed to do, which back you go another generation, somebody taught them that. So it's never grounded. So at 15, 16, if they say, hey, I want respect, they're following what the elders do. You just create a position called elder, and you're entitled to respect. You don't have to be respectful yourself. So if a 16-year-old says, hey, well, I want to be respected any kind of way, and they don't get that respect from the elder and they're disrespectful, aren't they just following the lead?
So
I have an answer. Oh, go ahead, Trigger Mike. Go ahead.
So there's a lot of conflict with that. What we need to do is break this down into facets. All right. This is why I do not like the generation of respect is not earned. I'm sorry. Respect is not given, it's earned. What we ended up doing was creating a world of disrespectful people with that statement. There is a level.
Continue.
Hold on. There is a level of respect for the human condition. There's a level of respect for elders. And there's a level of respect for authority. Those three things need to be built into every child. Because what you're hold on. I get what you're saying. Hold on. I get what you're saying. But what happens is that when you teach that to children, they only interpret the nuance in it. They don't interpret it the way we interpret it as grown individuals. They only interpret the nuance, which is I don't have to respect you until you respect me. And we're also assuming, like I said earlier, that elders enter into disrespect with the children. I'm not saying disrespect a child and talk to them any kind of way. I'm saying that in a situation where there's a fire, it's respect and looking at the elder who knows what to do that will get everybody out that situation.
Based on what?
Years of experience.
If the elders knew what to do, why is the building on fire?
Okay. Hold on. My building is not on fire.
No, the community as a whole, which doesn't exist anymore, is on fire. And the elders started it. Their elders created it, and they're marinating in fire, which means
no.
Respect
so
what?
I have pushback.
And they're not even taught to respect their own damn selves.
It's the lack of presence from elders that's missing. Not the elders did it. It's literally a lack, an absence. It's not a doing. It's an absence.
Well,
there aren't
fathers. Inaction is also an action.
Fathers in the community. Because look, I know what you're gonna say, Dusto. Don't blame the mom. I'm sorry, blame the mom. I'm not blaming moms.
Find a single mom and blame it on her.
Hold on. I'm not blaming moms anymore because let's look at this from not what a mom can't do or what not a mom has done. It's what she can't even do if she tried. This is a symptom of showing how impactful a man is to his household and why he should never not be a part of it. Only if he leaves this earth through death should a man not be involved in the upbringing of his children, because that's how impactful he is to the house. So it's not that the woman did anything, it's that the man was not present. It's an absence thing.
Okay, so the thing is, inaction is also an action.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if there's a lack of if there's a lack of presence, that still falls back on the elders as to why these kids are so disrespectful. I'm not saying kids are not disrespectful, so I'm not pushing back on you on that, Trigger Mike. I do see that. You know, you can't help but see it, you know. But my thing is, when it comes to solving for the problem, I'm like, okay, problem identified. Why aren't the people who are supposed to be in these kids' lives not in their lives? Let's figure that out. Why are they not teaching the lessons to these kids? Because I've seen women tell their kids, you don't have to respect him, talking about someone else. I've seen that with my own 2 eyes. And if I saw that one person do it, I know it's anecdotal, but she's not the only one doing that. I've talked to other women, like going out on dates and stuff. Well, my kid doesn't have to respect him if he don't want to. I'm like, okay, cool. That was the last date. First and last date. So, you know what I mean? So it's like, so that's where I am with it. And its thing is they're getting this stuff where they don't have to respect people from their parents. The parents are teaching them to not respect people. They're actively being taught these things
by disrespecting them to begin with.
I don't think by default that's what men do or that's how men roll.
I'm not saying that's the thing. What I'm saying is you can
they're
say
doing it right now on this panel.
Right. You can say they don't do this all the time, but guys, women, they're women who have babies with cavemen, okay, Neanderthals, knuckle draggers, and these guys tell their sons, hey, somebody messes you, you get this get and do this, and they don't teach boys to be men. When you use this, that's me against you.
Right.
My strength, power, and athletic ability against yours. That's man to man.
Yeah, right.
If I get my butt whooped, guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go train and get back. So next time, if we come to fisticuffs, you should use your brain first. Yes, I agree with that. You should use your brain first. But if it comes to fisticuffs, violence, that's where it should stay. You know what I'm saying? When I was coming up, people didn't take it too far. A fight was a fight. A fight happened. It was ended. Over. It was over. And everybody walked away, and that was it. Right. Right. Nobody can forget back all this stuff. But kids are being taught this stuff at home. They're being taught it at home, and that's where they're getting it from. So when you talk about what the source of the problem is, it's the adults. They're feeding this nonsense inside those kids' heads. They're getting it from somewhere. They ain't just learning it on their own.
I think, well, there is truth to that, right? I think. Oh, go ahead, Mr. Ikene. Go ahead.
I have something to say. You see, Trigger Mike and I, right? Let's just say it right now. Trigger Mike is somewhere, and I come inside here. Trigger Mike understand the age difference between the two of us. What Trigger Mike will do is that he will first give me respect as somebody that is older than him. I'm not going to disrespect him because I don't want to ruin the respect he has for me, right? As an adult and as an elderly person. That's how we raised. Elder creates that opportunity for the younger one to respect, but the younger one will automatically give that respect as the elder is showing up. Then the elder in return will take that respect as an honor and not disrespect the younger man in any process, but will chastise the younger man if he does something that is not becoming. You see what I'm saying? That's how respect is created, that's how respect is given, and that's how respect is sustained. But in the community, where you have a situation whereby a child is not taught respect, an elder steps into a house and a child is sitting on the chair, this is the first sign of disrespect that parents install in kids. It has nothing to do with a father in the house. It has nothing to do with a single mother. This thing that I'm trying to tell you cut across the fabric of American culture. Because the first time I noticed that was 2 days into this country. I went into a bus to catch a bus, and I saw elders standing up and kids sitting down. It never left my mind because that's my first rude awakening of how the kids are spoiled. So you guys can't change my mind for what I've seen. It's my experience. You can't change my experience. That's why I said
the kids again.
Let me put it to you this way. Let me put it to you this way, y'all, because I can't let this doctrine slide, not on my show, because I know better. Let me tell you something. There's a reason you don't see Asian kids on the news. There's a reason you don't see Indian kids on the news. There's a reason you don't see African kids.
They're taught at home to not do these things.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on.
That's a damn lie.
The reason you don't see this shit, man, is because they teach exactly what Ikene is talking about. What we don't know, because what we really ended up doing was taking away these down home root disciplinary teachings and supplementing it for what came out of the DSM-5 and books. And it doesn't work. Let me explain to you. The reason why it doesn't work in this country is because when you are doing what y'all are saying, right? Trying to reinvent the wheel on the way mutual respect and discipline needs to be taught, the children interpret the nuance and end up growing into a lack of respect for authority. This is why black children or black kids more in particular have so many bad interactions with police. They already don't have a respect for authority, and that shit was taught to them. It was
Y'all over
taught.
the place, bro.
I'm not joking. Why do I gotta respect you? It's because you got a fucking badge. All of that shit is baked into the same cake. Mutual respect for authority figures is standard, bare minimum in society.
Hey, Trigger Mike, how is it mutual when you're still taking shots at the youngsters?
No,
It's
that
one
shit
way.
don't even apply. I think you're talking about something else at this point.
No,
No,
the thing
it's one way.
is, wait. His point is that you're still putting the
All
fingers
y'all
at the
been doing was
youngsters
taking shots at the youngsters.
when
It's
we've already
disrespect.
established it's not their fault. It's the adults' fault of the adults. So if we know now where the fault lies and where the root cause of the problem is, why have we not shifted the conversation to that?
Right.
Okay,
but y'all
so
are still the
Mandrell,
ones
so what
disrespecting the
happens
youngsters.
when the child? What happens when the child end up becoming an adult?
JT, come on.
Because guess what? They don't stay children. Listen to what I'm saying. They don't stay children for long. They don't stay children for long. So now that you have this child that's an adult, what is it now? So are you going to blame that child?
Well, here's the thing: if
that's now an adult,
if that child has shitty parents, it stands to reason why that it's more likely that that child with shitty parents grows up to become a shitty adult. Trey said it right there in the chat, and Trey and I, we disagree a lot.
Right.
But I agree.
So that same
what he
thing.
just said. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what the root cause of the problem is: the parents teaching their kids to be this way.
Okay, so it's just again, we already established that we're kind of like at a standstill when it comes down to it.
No, we're not. If we go after
It's
adults,
not just the parents; it's the elders.
Yeah, it's the adults.
And y'all are
So-
doing the very disrespect right now. That's
So,
my point.
Dusto, you are elder. You are an elder. So that
I
means
don't
that you are part of this
disrespect
too.
I don't disrespect the youngsters.
But you're saying that we are on this panel.
Yes.
How?
No.
I got grandkids. I don't disrespect my grandkids.
Criticism is not disrespect. Criticism is not disrespect.
Okay, here's the
when
thing.
we're talking about when we're talking about self-improvement, we're talking about any type of sport, Olympics, anything at all, work, job, construction, there's always going to be criticism. That does not equal disrespect. It means that you need to do better. We are telling young people that they need to do better. That is not disrespectful.
I'll tell you what, go to a bunch of 17-year-olds and talk to them like y'all talk to them on a panel.
Yeah, you need to do better.
If it's criticism or if it's disrespect.
You need to do better.
So hold on, Dusto. I have done just that. And they listen when I talk.
Bullshit.
So I don't know what they listen when I talk.
Yeah, you didn't approach it
like this.
Children and young people listen to good advice that makes sense.
Hold on. Because this is the weird part about it. I'm a damn college professor. I teach grown people, and I say shit like, "Everybody be quiet while I'm talking." I'll say it in an aggressive tone, and guess what they'll do? Be quiet. I don't really.
That's because of your position in that setting, though, Mike.
Respect
position
for
is different.
authority. That's what I'm saying.
That's rigging the argument.
Yeah, but that's because of your position.
Do you go and disrespect teenagers? Do you go try to correct teenagers or younger people in a form of disrespect?
So you're assuming that we are disrespectful in nature when we engage with younger people. I didn't get that from anybody that has spoken today.
No,
I didn't get that vibe.
Bro, I'm around young folks a lot. I just told you, I have a grandson. I have kids that were kids. They're now adults. I got another one for you. And I know two, Mandrell and Trigger Mike. Both of you guys were in the military, right?
I was, you know that.
Both of you guys were both of you guys in a authoritative position.
Yeah.
No.
I was
Squad leader,
That has to
platoon
be.
sergeant, something like that. Do you
Yeah.
know? I've came across some of the guys with some of these kids. I was 25 when I got buck sergeant, right? And a lot of kids that was on my squad, that was in my platoon, all these guys that I end up being a mentor for, they had some of the most horrible backgrounds. And it was because not my position in the military, but my posture that I held where they listened to me. They actually started changing. These guys just coming in, they getting ready to get kicked out, getting ready to get field grades and court martials and all kind of things. But it was at the love that I had for them where I grabbed them and I started actually mentoring them. I can tell you right now, it's been 22 years since I've been in the military, right? I just talked to a guy that I used to be a mentor for. He's getting ready to retire as a first sergeant. This guy came in the military, man. This dude was talking that gang shit. He was always in trouble. He's always getting rid of and all of that. And it was a gang of them that was like that. It came because they started actually understanding that men had a posture that we used to have. A lot of men, so I can agree with Dusto, a lot of men doesn't hold authoritative posture with these guys. They will put them on this, they'd be on the same level as them. Look at how many 36-year-olds shooting 17-year-olds and vice versa right now. All of these things that's in these neighborhoods, because a lot of these men are not holding authoritative posture. So when we're talking about elders, we're talking about people that actually can mentor these, a lot of these guys don't want to do it. I can kind of agree with what you guys are saying, but I'm telling you, it's getting to a point where these kids still end up being adults. And if they don't know anything as being a kid and they don't evolve in their thinking, they're going to end up losing in life. That's
Right.
basically what it's going to be.
JT, I'm not talking about authoritative. I'm talking about influential.
You have to understand that you got to follow somebody, and there's always somebody that's going to be authoritative over you. That's why we got a hierarchy. That's why we have elders. That's the purpose of being an elder. You are on a different life. You're in a different hierarchy when you're in life, whether you want it or not. That's what it is.
That's not what I was referring to. Authoritative is different because you hold a position that they're required to respect. You in the grocery store, there's no position, no requirement of respect. There's nothing but you talking to them. That's where you use influence. And if you don't respect them, if you don't respect them, don't expect them to respect you back.
But why would you disrespect kids that you just met for the first time?
Yeah. So
the disrespect is shown on your face before it's even come out your mouth.
I mean, that adult lacks respect. Remember when this is what I told you. I told you that when I come into a place, right, and I see Trigger Mike, I'm not going to disrespect Trigger Mike. I have my dominion will be of that of welcoming to him, right?
Right, but you're disrespecting the Americans. You disrespect him because he's African and that upbringing thing. Then disrespect the Americans.
Just making up anything, bro. You'll say anything.
You trolling now, bro.
Yeah, you say anything, bro.
I'm talking about ethnic
Listen, man. Here's the point, though, right? Here's the point. Okay, so what? You had bad parents. Okay, now you're where you are. You're 20 years old. You can't keep blaming it on. Let's put the blame on your parents. Now you still have to live. You have to move forward. You can't keep carrying the bad habits and blaming your parents. At some point, you're going to have to say, I got to learn some new skills that my parents didn't teach me because I got to survive in the world for myself. That's what has to happen. Now, who teaches you? I don't know. But going back and trying to fix 50, 60, and 70-year-olds is not going to be productive. Their life is already gone. So you have to tell the young people, your parents were fucked up, but guess what? There's still hope for you. That's where we got to go. We can't even move this conversation forward. Unless we accept
we
that.
can. We can move forward.
Keep talking about 90-year-olds.
We're not talking about 90-year-olds.
People who the future is.
We're not talking about 90-year-olds.
Okay, so we can see.
All I'm saying is respect them and they'll respect you back or not.
You guys keep talking about how bad your parents were. Okay, their parents.
Yeah. Nobody said anything about our parents.
I'm just.
all right, y'all. Let me get the next joint rolling because I gotta head out.
Parents are respectful.
Stop it, man. Let's go forward.
Y'all hold it down while I jump in the car real quick.
What's the next question?
The next question is, at what point do modern men and women start to fail in their relationships?
Oh, wow.
Oh, come on, Mike.
It sounds, first of all, it sounds like they start feeling right from the
Mike.
beginning.
Mike
changed the subject on me.
I'll
change the subject
wow.
on me, man.
Okay, okay, JT, you just came up, and Trey, you just came up. Yo, go ahead, man. Say what you want to say first, and then we move on back.
Yeah, well, as me being a part of this young folk generation that y'all are talking about, I can say that the reason they are like that is because of the parents and the lack thereof parents
All
that
I'm
they
saying.
have influencing them. And you said that when they get to a certain age, that at some point they have to take responsibility and learn to do better. I agree with that, but who can you learn to do better from when it's not just your parents that are trash people, but just about everybody older than you is just as trash too. So it really takes a young adult to actually put in actual effort into wanting to be a better man or a better woman.
All I'm saying,
it's
Arpain.
Yeah,
Hey,
but that's
power
what
up,
I said
JT.
too.
Can I
At
ask you
some
one
point.
question?
No. Go ahead. Ask him. Go
One
ahead.
question, JT. JT,
Yes, sir.
were they speaking about the? I don't know how long you've been listening, but have they been speaking with a lot of respect for the youngsters in the conversation that just took place?
It was a little on the antagonizing side, as in saying
There
that the
we go.
youngins. But I will say I wasn't here for the
Don't
whole
co-sign
conversation.
these two idiots, man. Come on.
Right.
He's telling the truth.
So wait, if we're
Say from
speaking,
past conversations, I will say from the past conversations that I have had with older people and just on these panels in general, is instantly these young folks are crazy or these young folks ain't doing this right or that right. And then my question is, well, who raised us? Why aren't we? So the ones that were lucky to have both parents like me, the ones that were lucky to break out of that that bad behavior and find a good inspirational person, they're doing decent. But you gotta at some point remember that environment plays a big role on a lot of these people, and some people just don't have the willpower or don't even have the knowledge to get out of the bad habits that they have. They don't even realize it's bad.
Well, JT, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a
I
question, JT.
rest my case.
Let me ask you a question.
You ain't made no point, Dusto. You ain't rested no damn
Hold
case.
on.
You see this?
Hold on for a second.
Stop trolling, JT.
Man. Let me ask my question. JT, all right, you said what you said. Now, how are you finding your level? How are you finding your way in the lack of adults to do the right thing? You seem to have your life in order. How did you do that? How did you do that?
Me personally, I'm almost an anomaly because I had both parents in the household, so I had a good inspiration from both male and female. So, but what I'm saying is that most people my age don't have that, and I can acknowledge that. I'm
Yeah,
probably
we acknowledge that.
a
So
little
we're
different from
saying
that.
that there's no hope for them because they didn't have it. Are we saying
No,
there's no hope for?
I'm not saying there's no hope. I'm just saying it takes a lot more to get them on a straighter path because
Okay.
usually the people who don't have a mother or a father, that's their entire environment. Like I had a mother and a father, almost every kid in my neighborhood had the same. But when you dealing with kids who didn't have anything but a mother, 9 times out of 10, all the other kids around them didn't have a father either.
Single
So
moms.
Don't
ever
say
since
that because
everybody
Dusto gonna tell you that you blaming the moms now.
All right.
Single
I'm not
So,
saying I'm
moms.
blaming the moms.
JT, I understand what you're saying, but like I
What
said,
I'm saying
the
is
people
their
are where they are
environment plays a
now.
big
You
role.
can't. This. You established that the elders messed up. That's where you want to go with these two guys up at the top. What do they do now? What do they do? You know what I'm saying? If you're saying there's nobody to teach them, what do they do? And Trey, man,
They
you didn't go
No,
yet.
our pain.
a lot
We're,
of
I'm
we're
just
them.
saying
asking.
for the elders to start being more respectful. That's what we're saying.
No, I don't
okay,
think
wait
anybody's
one
saying that they
second.
don't want to.
Neither one of you guys, neither one of you, Dusto nor Mandrill, has pointed out what was said that was disrespectful
earlier, because using terms like them, they, that suggests a group of people. That's not disrespectful to say that. To when talking about a group of people in general, to say they, them, they need to do better. Now let's
You
talk
know
about
what?
how
You're
they
right.
need to do better.
No,
So my
AP.
question to you guys are, what was disrespectful? And neither one of you offered up solutions also.
No,
So
AP,
what
I got you.
solutions do you offer up?
No, AP, here's the deal. Go on a white
Mhm.
panel where they're talking about them black,
No, I'm
them,
not
them.
talking. No. We're not gonna do that.
Go on
We're
a
not
white
gonna do that.
panel
We're
where
not
they're
gonna
talking
do that,
about
bro.
them people are
Now,
screwing
see,
up
this
and
that
tell me
that
if
shit
this is
right there,
respectful or not.
that shit that shit right there, that
That's
completely
deflection, man.
derails
That's
any
No,
It's
it's not.
deflection. It's
I'm telling you
deflection and
that is
intellectual
disrespectful.
dishonesty. You can't answer his
I'm
question.
telling you
You
that
just
is
can't.
disrespectful.
Just take your L and move on.
Me
I'm telling you
personally,
that is disrespectful.
Mandrill, what do you got? Mandrill, what do you got?
I've offered. Look, I've
If
offered.
someone says disrespectful as your teeth, but
My thing is,
anyway,
I've offered 2
you
solutions.
didn't even say what was
Go ahead.
disrespectful.
Look,
if
I've
y'all
offered
want
2
to keep
solutions.
talking,
I've
I'll
offered
say,
2 solutions since I've been here. Okay, I said, one, mentorship. Take one of these young men,
I
take
agree
them under
with
your
that.
wing, mentorship, show them
I
right from
agree.
the whole thing, right?
all right.
Number 2, and this is where it gets dangerous, fellas, but you can't be afraid to do it. The men and women who are either not really in the kids' lives, not active in their lives, or flat out teaching those kids something wrong, approach them and have a conversation with them about it. You know what I'm saying? And tell them why you think it's wrong. Now, I'm not saying do that to strangers. Again, that's dangerous. You know what I'm saying? But
I
if you
agree
have a
with you.
family
I
member,
agree with you
but
on
if you
that.
have a family member or something like that, and you notice that they're doing that to their kids, start there. Start with family members, a
Completely agree.
sibling or a cousin or something like that. If they're doing this kind of nonsense, teach your kids this kind of nonsense, approach them with it.
Okay, that's
You know what I'm saying? So I'm
didn't
not
AP
saying go out
say
to
the language
strangers.
is disrespectful?
So
But to
mentorship and talk to the adults. And
But to
if the
button it
adults
up,
don't hold on, and
go ahead.
to add, if the adults aren't listening to you and taking your advice, if you have the opportunity to mentor that young family member, you then teach that kid the right things. If you have the opportunity to. So somebody has to teach these kids the lesson. Yeah, someone has to teach these kids the lesson that they're not getting. Because when they get older and the cops put them billy clubs on their ass, now you got your mouth out.
And
Oh,
that's
man, I agree.
And it's your fault.
Nobody carries billy clubs.
Hey, Trey.
I know, Trey. I know.
Trey, you just came up. What you got,
Look, in my household, kids are taught that you earn respect is not given to you. That's just how I was raised, and that's how I raised my kids. You must earn your respect first. You must earn your respect first. And then once you've earned it, we'll go from there. This whole idea of men and women, when is their relationship start to fail? The moment they start to get into it. Because there's only one way to go. It either works or it doesn't work. That's the only options you have. Same thing with marriage. It either works or it doesn't work. So you can get to the top of the mountain. There's only one place to go, down. That's it. So the moment that they get in there, it's effectively by default starting to fail unless they make it to death. That's it. That's the only options you have.
I got a question for you, Trey. So your philosophy on respect is earned, not given. When you pull someone over and they disrespect you, and they look at you in the eyes and tell you, hey, respect is earned, not given. You haven't earned my respect yet, so I don't have to give you my credentials, my license, insurance. I don't have to do that.
Yep.
How does that work? How does that work out for them?
I'm going to answer it for you because that's always a common question is what do officers do if somebody doesn't want to respect you? It's fine. Yeah. Guess what? I got a whole book, the whole DC code book full of thousands of pages that tell me exactly what I can do if you choose not to follow my instructions. It's very simple.
Right. See, it doesn't work out well for the other person, does it?
Hang on. It doesn't work out well for you.
Right.
Because the law says that I can put my hands on you.
Right. Right. That's my point, though.
So if you choose not to follow my instructions and you choose not to respect my authority, there are consequences. I don't have to earn your respect. It's
that's my point.
That's why the philosophy doesn't work. That's why that philosophy doesn't work.
Exactly. Hang on. These aren't children. These are grown adults.
But that's what they were taught.
These are adults. As far as children are concerned, as far as I'm concerned, they do have to earn respect because they haven't contributed anything to this world that says that I should automatically respect you.
That's not true, Trey. That's not true.
Tell me what a child is contributing.
No, hold on. Can I say this?
Go ahead.
No, listen. The thing is that it should be common. Respect is just something that should be normal for us to give common respect.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Why
You
not?
have,
If I see somebody that I just
because respect is earned.
And
What
try
you're
giving
talking
it
about
to the
is common
youngsters.
decency. That's what you're talking about. You're talking about just being
that's respect.
No, it's
That's
not
respect,
sir. No, it's not respect. It's not. That's the problem. We're getting it confused. It's not respect. I don't have to respect you, JT. I don't have to respect a thing about you, JT, until you've earned my respect. And if you ever notice, when people get into a fight after boxing matches or MMA, they talk about respect. They talk about the person earned the respect. You don't just give people respect; they have to earn it.
Why wouldn't you?
I don't give anybody.
Why wouldn't you just give a person that never showed you any disrespect themselves? Why wouldn't you just give them common respect? It's respect.
I think we're talking about two different things. I think Trey's right. I think it is decency. I think everyone deserves common decency. Respect is something different because it's actual currency between two people, right? And that can be your elder, that can be your parents or grandparents. Now, your grandparents may have never been very quote unquote involved in your life, but when you see them, they're your grandparents. You love them very much, and they're part of the responsibility of why you even exist in the first place. They created your parents. They in turn created you. You respect your grandparents straight off the bat. They didn't work their ass off to earn it from you.
But how does that? What I'm saying is how does that look? Give me a definitive term of respect. Give me something that's definitive when it comes down to respect, because you can lose respect, but as far as earning it, it's you might have to earn it back.
But it's a relationship. Okay, so it's a currency. I believe it's an intangible currency between two people in a relationship, and that relationship doesn't have to be always family. It can be outside of family too, right? But it's never given out freely or willingly. It's usually earned. Go ahead, Trey.
I'll read you the definition. I'll read your definition of respect. The definition of respect is a feeling of deep admiration for someone or something elicited by their abilities, qualities, or achievements. The second one, due regard for the feelings, wishes, rights, or traditions of others. You don't just respect people; they got to do something. They have to earn it.
Well, before we go down that rabbit hole, wait a minute. Before we go down that rabbit hole and everybody gets a piece, right? I mean, I don't want to feel too much off. I think EBD had a good way of putting it: decency and respect, the difference. So I think that makes sense.
That's right.
Does. You know, so
we can end that.
Why don't we go back to the question that
the question of the modern relate. I think that at the point of hang on, let me read it. At what point do modern men and women start to fail in their relationship? I would not to bring it back, but I think it starts at the lack of respect, which comes with which usually comes in the form of many forms. My last relationship ended. So I'll tell you how it went. It was a lack of communication, soft ghosting. It's, once upon a time you were communicating, you were planning on doing stuff. One person backs out. One person wants to make the relationship work. The other one does it not so much anymore. It's a lack of energy. It's a lack of vibe. It's a lack of interest. And all of these things are telltale signs that your relationship is coming to an end because one person wants the relationship to continue and the other one's interest has changed.
Makes sense. Mandrell?
The question is, when do relationships begin to end?
At what point do modern men and women start to fail at their relationships?
The moment one of them lies.
Ooh, good one.
That is good.
The second you lie, it's over. Because the other person gonna find out you lied. Now you got two choices. You have to tell 12 more lies to cover up for that. Or you can tell them the truth that you lied, but that person would never trust you again. Not completely. They're always going to question anything you say. That's for men and women. If a woman lies to a man, if he forgives her for the lie, he'll never trust her completely again. It'll always be in the back of his head. He'll question everything she says. Same thing with the woman. She's going to question what the man says. It's done. It is done at that point. The second you lie. That goes for men and women. That's my answer.
Gusto?
It's over when somebody says it's over, which is quite common. A lot of them over before they even started, and even before their parents or however they've been born even started. because to keep a relationship going, you need expectations need to be met, proper communication for maintenance and attraction. But a lot of people are fat, ugly, and dusty. A lot of people don't know how to talk or listen, and a lot of people don't respect each other and all them other problems. And I'm going to blame the elders. Why not? There's no single moms on the panel, so blame the elders until we can get a white man on the panel.
Okay, AP. Are you finished?
Well,
Go
I
ahead, AP.
believe that it all points back to exactly what Mandrill said. The first one to lie, whether it's at the beginning when you lie about your intentions, or whether you lie in the middle of a relationship, it doesn't even matter. It all goes back to that one thing: the first time someone is dishonest. And I don't really have anything to add. I thought Mandrill did a great job of walking through it.
All right, JT. Go ahead. What we know podcast, JT. That JT.
Okay, I was about to say which JT.
Yeah. You there? Yeah, we'll come back to him. Go ahead, power up.
All right. I agree with the first one to lie, but since everybody said though, and I'll say, when they begin to let outside forces into the relationship, like i.e. social media, a mom, a father, a friend, when they start letting other people into their relationship or watching other people's relationship and trying to make that shape or form their own relationship with that person. So they might see somebody else that goes on more vacations than they do, and now they're wondering why the guy they with not taking them on that many vacations, or the dude might see, you know, a girl on social media being freaky with her boyfriend, and he wondering why his girl don't treat him that way. And so is whenever they start comparing their relationship to outside forces or letting other people in the relationship to tell them what they would or wouldn't accept or what they should or shouldn't do or have to require or what is expected out of their relationship when other people start getting involved.
All right. Trey?
Oh, is this the same question or did I miss something?
Yeah, it's a question at the bottom.
Oh,
Or
I
did
mean,
you
I
answer it
gave
already?
I gave a little bit of my answer. I mean, to me, it's relationships start to fail when you start to get into a lot of these guys, younger guys. Even me, I put myself in that position when I was in my 20s. I had no concept of what an actual relationship was. My mother was a single mother; she never was married. Until I was off into the military, I had no idea of what an actual relationship should comprise of, what my duties were in that relationship, what hers were. I had no idea. So a lot of these relationships start to fail the moment they get into them because they've never had an actual good example of what a good, healthy relationship actually is. There are people who've been married for 30 years, they don't even like each other. They haven't liked each other for the last 20 years of the 30 years they've been married. They just sort of stayed together. So I don't know, man. At this point, I don't quite understand why people still. Well, I would say this: it's more so the men. The men are suckers for love. I've said this before. Men are in love, women are in business. So it's more so the men are the suckers for love that want to be in these relationships. Women are just being opportunistic.
I got you. Hey, okay, here's the super chat. SBU Live. $10. Join Trigger Mike at SBU Live today at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. Ekene, you there?
Yeah, how you guys doing?
Ekene,
Real quick,
answer the question, my
real
man.
quick, real quick. Who was that just spoke? Which one of you guys?
That was Trey.
Trey. Yeah, I got some questions whenever we get back around. Once
Well,
everybody
let
gets their
Ekene go and you can ask a question on that. Go ahead.
So
Hold on.
this is what life is, right? Trey just stole a word from me, but let me say it now and then get back to him. Men shouldn't fall in love to women in a relationship. But guess what? Men usually marry women that they love, and women marry men that they want. And in some cases, men that they need mostly. Not usually men that they want, but men that they need. But how life is in today is that Men love hard, men love long. But women in return, they will marry men that they respect. And that's what a man demands from a woman. A man doesn't demand love from a woman, he demands respect. Due to the fact that a woman's feelings change so much when she loves. A woman can love you today, and tomorrow she doesn't love you anymore because her mood swings. But if she has respect for you, her respect lasts a very long time. But one thing that kills respect and make relationship fall apart is this. When you start a relationship with a woman that you love as a man, men tend not to have that necessary conversation. Conversation of what she wants, conversation of what's her intentions, conversation of what is she bringing to this relationship, which we call table, because the table is the relationship or the family. Conversation of what is expected of her. And she, in turn, has to ask the man, what does the man want in that relationship? What is his expectation? If we have these conversations face to face with women that are coming into our relationship, I believe it will work better. Just like when a woman goes to a job interview, the employer doesn't hide certain things from her just because he wants to hire her. The same applies to a man. When you go to a job interview, they ask you questions about your life, what you've done, where you've been, and all this. And then they start telling you what the company expects of you. So you have a clear picture from the very get-go of what is expected of you. We, in return, should start doing that. When I met my wife, I told her Nigerian culture. She's African American. I told her Nigerian culture. I told her what my culture expects of her. So whenever we get into an argument today, I always tell her, what did I tell you from the very first time we met, almost 14 years ago? I told you this is African culture, this is how we do it, and you say you're gonna embark on this relationship. So it was your choice. And you know what she does?
I said that.
It has been keeping us going for the past 14 years. And I see a lot of friends of mine that never have this conversation with their wives. And 2 years later, the whole relationship fall apart because you gave her. I'm not blaming women, I'm blaming men for this. You sold yourself to this woman. You gave her false hope and false expectation because you so much eager to be in a relationship and please somebody, but without having that tough conversations with her. That's the problem. That's where it starts to fail because the expectations are not met. Thank you, guys.
All right. That sounds good. AP, what's your question to Dre?
Well, Ikene kind of went into it a little bit, but the point he made about men looking for love and women looking to get what they want out of the relationship, right?
Yes.
So the question is, why? What makes you think men are looking for love as opposed to respect? And
no, that's not what. That's not what.
Or is there something different?
Because women don't respect men. I think that's been obvious over the last 15 years. I think they've showcased that they do not respect us at all. So why would they go into relationships? Why would I be expecting her to respect me?
Victim time.
Then the question that I would have for you, why would a man try to go into a relationship with a woman that doesn't respect him?
I don't know. You have to ask those men because I would never do that. So I don't know. I can't speak for them.
I think I addressed that. This is what I said. I said that the problem is that men don't discuss this with women from the very get-go. You don't tell her what you expect. You don't tell her what you expect in this relationship. You don't make things clear. You don't even make the picture clear to her. You don't lay down you have to lay down your principles. You don't lay down because you don't want to antagonize or you don't want her to walk away or you don't
Again,
want to
these men are not doing that. Most of these men have a scarcity mindset. They are afraid to lose the woman that is directly in front of them. Meanwhile, the women have an abundance mindset. They are thinking replace you. I can do better. The grass is greener. They don't live by this 80-20 thing or whatever you want to call it. They are always looking to replace you. So this whole idea that men can go into up to a woman and I'm going to lay down the law and it's going to be like this. Most guys cannot do that.
No offense. Could you stop, bro? Real talk.
It's the women's.
All right. Hey, listen. Hey, okay, Justo,
Justo.
hold on, man. Hey, listen,
It's
let
the
me go with Trey.
women's.
Justo.
Acting like a real bitch.
Trey has a point, AP. That's
The
really,
women's.
let me go, because I didn't go yet.
Like I want to follow up, but Dust
No, I
is
mean,
extremely
go ahead and follow
distracted.
up. Go ahead and follow up with Trace. Hey, come on, Dustin, give him a break, man. Go ahead.
So if that is the case, so isn't it the men's fault as well as father's fault for not teaching the young men how to communicate?
What?
Like I'm about getting to the root cause of a problem, right?
Right.
So
AP, the root cause is men. We're the issue. We're the problem. And the issue is that we can't stand in front of a woman and say, listen, this is the standard. The standard, as Deion Sanders says, the standard is the standard. Either she makes it or she doesn't. And the problem is that a lot of men can't walk away when we realize that the woman doesn't meet the standard. If she doesn't meet the standard, you got to be able to get up and walk away from her and say, hey, baby, I like you, but this is not going to work because these are my standards and you are not meeting them. What happens a lot of the times is a lot of men bend. Oh, it's okay. I think I maybe. What we do is we try to find reasons to qualify women. Well, yeah, she doesn't have this, but she does have that, so I can work with her. Well, meanwhile, the women are doing the opposite. They're taking every chance they get to disqualify you because you're not meeting the standards. A lot of these guys have got to get out of a scarcity mindset and get into an abundance mindset because technically there's more men than women. Even in America, there's 7.1 million more women over the age of 18 in America than there are men. We are the ones that should have the abundance mentality, but we've been tricked. The women have it, but a lot of these guys, they can't look at a woman and say, hey, baby, you ain't it. Sorry, you ain't it. I got to walk away. They can't do it.
So the question is, what has created that problem? Because that hadn't been a problem.
Wait, hold on. Before we go down that rabbit hole.
I'm sorry.
No. But this answer is a holistic answer. It's the nature of most men. Scarcity when it comes in front of women. Hey, listen, you can talk to a bunch of men on these panels, and one of the things about black men in particular, our standards have always been so goddamn low. So we pick anything. That's why our women are so fat. Shit, we don't give a shit about anything. So they're going to give us some ass. There's too many men like that. So, yeah. Well, let me finish, man. That's exactly why men can't. Men need to set their standards. That's the point. And then we're just starting to come into our own. And I give Manosphere some of this credit. Everybody hates the Manosphere. But now that we have these conversations, we're understanding that we should have expectations of the women we choose. Because our last great, unique superpower is asking them to marry us. Right? And they can't really. So and if we just give that shit away like too many men do, that's why they all end in divorce. Because half of those marriages shouldn't have happened in the first place. So the point I'm trying to say is, and that gets me to my answering the question. And it may not satisfy everything you're saying, AP, but one of the problems we have with relationships is that we reduce marriage to a relationship. It's not a relationship. It's bigger than that, right? A relationship is a situationship. And the one thing about marriage that's different besides just the kids is that you have common goals, something you're trying to achieve with a person that's supposed to be your helpmeet. There's all of these things you take that distinguish it from just having a girlfriend. And for the most part, people get in these so-called situationships with no plan. They just you get some ass, you'll stroke each other to death, and you'll do nothing else that's meaningful. And so it's so easy to break. You know, but getting back to your question, is Trey's absolutely right, man. Men don't need to stick by their standards, and you got to be willing to walk away if the girl doesn't meet. And men don't do that. Men don't do that in general. Some men can, but some don't. But go ahead. You know, I don't know if that helps.
No, Richie, I gotta say, let me make a statement. AP, please continue with your question, because the questions that you're asking are very deep. It's the questions that are supposed to be posed to men, and we have to have that conversation now. Please continue with your question, if that's okay with Richie.
That's fine. I mean, I think you asked it again, but go ahead to the next one if you have another one besides that.
Oh no, because I'm just about getting to the root of the problem, and the crux of it is, here in America, this is just my opinion, and you guys are more than welcome to chime in. We in America, as men, we're not doing enough for the younger men to teach the younger men how to be men. And I think a lot of it, will go back to the single parent epidemic that we've had, and men disappearing from the family. But I believe that it's up to men to fix the men. We, like, I hear in the space a lot where we harp on women, when we're the damn problem most of the time. When it's our mindset that's the issue. So why aren't we harping on men to be better men, as opposed to expecting women to do something that they haven't ever done?
I do it all the time, but I get pushback.
Trey,
I do
AP, the men said no.
I do it all the time, AP. I get pushback every day.
I can answer that question. I can answer that question. I can answer that question whenever you're done.
Before we go crazy, we can go in order for this one too. Having standards is the first, is one of those planks that men need to have in a way, and it has nothing to do with women. You have to have an expectation for your own life as a man, and you need to establish that first. Women don't even play into this shit. So, like, you're right. What do we teach guys that they need to do, right? We already intrinsically know that as a man, we have to make our way in this world because there's no safety net for us. And we need to teach men that, right? And so, and I think some of the shit that we try to do on this panel is teach people that, and this has nothing to do with women. But when you look at the component of trying to find a woman to be your mate, you have to apply that. You have to apply the fact that she has to meet your standards or you can't marry. You know, or you shouldn't marry. Let's put it that way. You know, so I mean, I think people have, but how do you go out into the diaspora and get all those at-risk men and fix them, and young men and fix them? Well, that's the individual thing. You go to a community center, you go here, you go there, you go to a school, whatever you do. That's an individual thing. I don't know how you put out that broad net.
I've got a question for Trey. Trey, you want to marry a woman right now? You see
right now, at this very moment?
No. This is just a conversation. Don't take it literal. Just take it figuratively. You know, as men, we have to talk in hypothetical. We have to talk. In a way that is not direct, not literal. But this is my question for you. You see a woman you like, a woman you fall in love to. You know how men do. They see women, they fall in love to those women, right? You see a woman you fall in love to and you want to marry. What is your expectation of that woman, and what standard you lay that she has to follow? Please, can we discuss that?
It's simple: loyalty, respect, commitment, and duty. I'm not very hard to please. Loyalty, respect, commitment, and duty. As long as she understands those four concepts, we can get cracking. Oh, and she's got to sign a no alimony prenup. But other than that, we can rock.
Mr. Richie, what's your standard if you were to get married today?
My top three is loyalty. I mean, respect, loyalty, and exclusivity. That goes for me. That goes before love and all the pansy shit that goes along with marriage. My wife is loyal and she respects me, and she's exclusive to me.
Dexter.
You know,
what do you say?
Dexter, what's your response, Dexter? Is he still there?
I don't know. I don't know, but I'll just go real quick, and I can
Let
answer AP's question as well. But it'll be respect, it'll be loyalty, it'll be honesty. Honesty is a real big thing with me because women have a tendency to make up stuff or hide stuff from you because they think you can't handle it or whatever. So honesty is really big.
AP.
Go ahead, Gusto. Yeah, Gusto. He wants you to answer.
She has a severe allergy to these dusty YouTube talking points. I'll marry her tomorrow.
AP, what is the list that you're going to give a woman?
The least I will give.
The list.
LISTS. What list will you give a woman that you fall in love to? Remember, I'm using the phrase fall in love to. You want her to be your wife, but you got to set the rules. You got to set a standard. So what list do you have that you have to hand that over to and say, these are the things you do in this house, and these are the things you don't do?
So the number one thing is I don't fall in love. So like the question, the premise of the question is something I don't like. I'm not gonna fall in love until I'm not gonna fall in love. I'm more of a respect kind of dude. But the number one thing that you're gonna do is respect me and whatever rules of the house I have is set. That's the number one thing. Number two is how do you take guidance? Are you able? Do you have the ability to be led? And that's my top two. Anything else we can work with. If you respect me and you allow me to lead you, we can have a great life.
Oh, wow. What is your response? Oh,
JT, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
yeah. What's your
So
response?
you said a list?
Yes.
Yeah. What's your list?
So yeah, integrity, the ability to follow, definitely keep outsiders outside of our relationship, and respect, man. Number one, respect.
How about you, Power Up, JT?
I think everybody already said it, man. It's not hard at all. It's not complicated. The respect, the loyalty, and having the duty to actually put forth effort in a relationship, knowing that it's not gonna always be easy. And I think that's where a lot of women mess up. Is because they're just more of in living in a relationship and the thing that you're supposed to serve them. And it don't work that way. It's the other way around, sweetie.
I'd argue that that's more of where men mess up in allowing and keeping a woman like that in their life. We got to be willing to say, okay, enough is enough and move forward.
I agree with that. I'm not disagreeing with you on that.
Yeah, I'd say a relationship in every sense, not every sense, in the key sense of the word, when you get down to the crux, it's a mutual exchange of love, kindness, respect, decency, this and that. It's never, because when one starts to fall short of the other, I think there's problems.
But then you will see
I gotta say this
oftentimes
real quick,
women
right?
come in
Let me
before
say
the
this real quick
relationship
too.
happens. And that's what their expectation is before you even get, like, some women real do have that expectation before they even give you their number. Like, you gotta come with something. So
Okay. So right there, I think when we're talking about that, like modern women in modern society have a lack of respect for men and what they bring to every relationship or every table. You know what I mean? Versus women bring a Christmas list of what they want, while men bring a Christmas list of what they can provide.
Okay, guys.
All
Let
right,
me
it's
say
time
this.
for the simp of me to come out. I just want to push back real quick before you go, Ekene.
Go ahead.
This is where the simp of me will come out. Yo, have we given them anything else to respect, bro?
What do you
Like,
mean? Besides,
they
okay,
have
I can answer that.
we have given what three decades now of leaving their ass cold and in the dust. Now that has something to do with them picking wrong, but that has something to do with men being led wrong by other men. And so why not get what you can get out of a man? Like, let's keep it real. Let's look at it from their point of view.
That's not the
Well,
majority, though.
well,
That's
the
definitely
value,
not the majority.
it's not the majority, but the value of a man is when you're choosing to select one to marry, because marriage is about forever, right? Not about until I feel. Marriage is supposed to be up and down, thick and thin, forever. Instead, what we have here in the modern era is with women, it's to happen to hold until I feel like it. And that's the issue. Their feelings change about a man, and that's when they feel like they can leave and they'll find something better rather than sticking it out, rather than actually committing to their vows. Vows are forever. They're designed and written forever till death do you part, and women are reneging on their half.
Well, wait a minute.
Well, here's my issue.
Before we
Let
start
me go real
pointing
quick.
fingers at men and women, there's enough blame to go around. That doesn't solve anything. One, AP, I don't agree that you could paint all men like that. There's always been generations of good men. Women don't pick those guys, So, and even today, women choose to pick the people they pick to sleep with. That's why they got so many kids out there. As far as the vows, there's men who don't follow their vows either, because women have always been the same. Back in the day, they could have broke their vows. There was nothing really keeping them other than maybe some economics. But the truth of the matter is, the nature has changed based on the laws of the society. When they made no fault divorce a possibility, women took advantage of that, right? So a lot of women leave over bullshit. But if you have a fairly yoked marriage, for the most part, it lasts. If you take care of the things you need to take care of, I believe. But there's always a reason why people leave. But I disagree with saying men have been so effed up. A lot of them have been. But I don't want to paint the whole blanket. Some women just choose to leave because they don't pick well, right? So if the nice nerd who could conjugate a verb and he's not flashy, her rules are different from him than the guy who meets the aesthetics. Some asshole who looks good, ain't got no job, ain't got nothing, she'll just go and bust it down. But a guy who wants to come with some correct, but he's a nerd, he don't get no play. So I mean, you go back and forth, who's at fault,
My issue with a lot of these modern women is that you're receiving this through somebody else. Most of these modern women haven't gone through the men who have left them high and dry, and most of them aren't old enough for that. So everything that you're getting is some sort of passed down trauma that you got from your mama, your grandmama. Somebody else told you, make sure you go to school, girl. Make sure you don't put yourself in a situation where you got to depend on a man, because that's what they went through. You have no actual experience on it. You're just living through what somebody else told you. I've had women tell me, I'm looking at her, she's like, you're 27. How are you talking about a man? A man won't do this, a man won't do that. How? You haven't lived long enough to experience those things. Well, my grandmother told me exactly. Your grandmother set you up for failure. So a lot of these women, these modern women, they can't speak on it because they haven't experienced it.
Okay, so to the men, and I know our Payne has a daughter. So my question is to the men on the panel who have a daughter, what are you telling your daughter? Are you telling her to not go to school and to go rely on a man?
Wait,
or
I'll tell you. Go ahead.
I'm being legit.
I have a daughter.
I have a daughter.
I'll jump in on that too. Go ahead, EBD.
Here's what I. So when she was 16, 17, sat her down at Starbucks, had the conversation. I said, me and your mom, I had you straight coming out of high school. I showed her the pictures on my phone. She was cooking in the oven with my diploma over the mom's belly. Like, this is you. You're in here while I'm barely getting my diploma out of high school. I don't want this for you, number one. Number two, when you're in a relationship, you need to understand that right now at your age, you're going to have certain feelings, this and that. You're going to go through this, that, and whatever. You can expect that. Don't even be surprised, because I'm not surprised. Number three, when it's serious, when you get old enough, you will discern and know what kind of man that you want and what he brings to the table and what he offers you. And marriage, because I was married to your mom, marriage is designed to be forever, not temporary, not until, there's no expiration date. It's supposed to be till death do you part, and you need to learn to take that seriously because you don't want to be single, alone, with children, this and that. That's statistically going on right now, and you don't want to be a part of that. There's always a better option. Choose the best option, and you will know when. I'm not going to be there to tell you, but you're going to know it when you see it. So that's what I told my daughter.
So you're telling your daughter the same hypergamous stuff that has been told to the women generations before? I mean, like I'm listening.
What do you mean by hypergamous?
What did you just tell her? The best option, right? You told her.
When it comes to marriage, pick the best option, and you'll know it when you see it. And marriage is supposed to be forever till death do you part. It is the most serious decision that any person can ever make. The rest of your car, your house, all that's temporary and finite. 30 years, 40 years, 20 years, 5 years. Marriage is more serious than that. It is a lifetime commitment. This is what I emphasize to her.
But Trey, you have a daughter. Go ahead.
Yeah, my daughter will be 5 in October. Listen, for me, this is very simple. I think that women do things backwards. I think that women should be trying to have all of their kids and get married before 22. And if you think about it and just do it from a math perspective, by the time you're 18, by the time your kid is 18, you'll only be 40. You have plenty of life to live, and you will have been married for the last 18 years. I think they should be trying to get all this out the way. My message to my daughter is very simple. Your college years are for you to find a husband. All this, you getting a degree and all that, you can get that later on in life. It's not going anywhere. You need to solidify your family and your husband early while you are probably looking your best, and probably while the man that you want will probably want you. There's no time to waste. For me, it's very interesting that women know when they turn 18 that they're on a clock, and yet they waste so much time being on this clock. And then when they're mid 30s, supposedly men like me who are in my late 30s, going into my 40s, I'm supposed to want you. No, I like women who are younger than you now. So for me, I'm telling my daughter, 18 to 22, it's a time for you to try to find a man seriously. And he can be older. I would expect for her to date older. I would hope that she would date an older man. And the other part of that is that's what I'm here for. Your job is to bring him to me so I can ask him the questions that you are not going to ask him. You're not going to ask him these questions. I'm going to ask these questions because as your father, I know what is expected of him if I'm going to pass my daughter off to him. So therefore, I'm going to ask questions that's going to make him uncomfortable. I can guarantee it. And that's exactly what I'm supposed to do. But I want her to get all of this stuff out the way. Her family, her husband, her kids, get it all out of the way before she turns 40. Does anybody know what age the Colonel was when he started KFC?
It's okay. Are you done with your review?
For those of you who don't know, he was in his 60s. So when she's 40, she's got plenty of life. She will have had her kids. She will have had her husband. He ain't going nowhere because alimony gonna kick him in the ass. He ain't going nowhere. So she has nothing to worry about, and she can go live her life. She'll only be 40, and when she's 60 and 70, she will have family because that's what will matter to her the most. And when I'm around my mother's in her 60s, my grandmother's in her 80s. Do you know what they talk about the most? They talk about family. My mother doesn't talk about graduating from Howard University and working for nonprofits. My grandmother doesn't talk about working for the Department of Interior. They don't talk about none of their professional or academic accomplishments. They talk about their family every single year at Thanksgiving and Christmas. Family. I'm so happy I have my family. So happy I have my family. So that tells me the message is that women adore and love their families as they get older. So my goal is to get my daughter in a position that when she's 50 and 60, she can have her family.
That's a good answer. Yeah,
good answer.
Yeah.
That is a very, very powerful
Hey,
stuff.
can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
So let me back up what Trey just said because that's extremely important.
Very important.
Hold on real quick. God, you are. So my wife joined a group of moms, right? She said when we moved out here to the burbs, she wasn't close to her friends anymore or as close, right? And she needed to make new friends. So she joined a mom's group, like a mom's organization. And the first thing she said was, I cannot believe that there is a group of Black, powerful, professional women that every time they get together, we never talk about our career. We never talk about money. We talk about our children and our vision for our family and how we can be better moms. So that is exactly what they want. That's why I will never acquiesce to this bullshit about women and career, because in their own element, that's what they care about. And all of these weak ass fucking podcasters telling you not to fucking care about that shit are setting you up for failure. They're leading you into a river
where they're asking you to build them a ship like Creflo Dollar. I need a jet. I need a ship. They're going to sail off that ship with a bunch of bitches, gay bitches that they brought. And then the rest of y'all going to drown in that goddamn water. That's what's going to happen. Because women need family. It ain't no, oh, I could do without it. You need it. You thrive off that shit.
Yep. I can tell you, I wish I was a little bit more forceful on that part of it. I know my oldest daughter had a guy she was in love with. It just didn't work out. My youngest daughter is still doing her thing. Yeah, for me, and I think every man wants this, even if they don't find a husband, you want your kids to be self-sufficient, whether they're women or not. But I told my girls, I said, listen, I can't rest until I can hand you over to somebody I trust as a man to cover you. And then I talk to them about their future, because we have to tell women in general, they don't have no foresight. Oh, it's very bad. So we got to tell them, project themselves into the future. Yeah, so this brother who's a podcaster, and I said this before, he showed that he was in love with this woman when she was 22. And he asked her to marry him, or he wanted to get serious. She said, no, I don't want to be serious. Suppose I just want to go to a bar, take my shirt off and dance naked, on the counter. And so that relationship went sour. 25 years later, he still stayed in touch with her. She sends him a Christmas card. It's her alone under a Christmas tree with matching pajamas with a dog and a cat. Around almost 50 years old. And just the whole narrative kind of says, he blotted out her face, but she might have been smiling, but it's no way she couldn't have been lonely. I talked to my wife about that, which I asked her to talk to the girls when they were younger. I said, listen, you see all this joy you have every Christmas, every holiday. You gotta tell our girls that's what you want to do. You can have your careers, but it's the family that's important. And you're going to need that later on in life. And I said, you ain't going to make it, even if you made enough money to survive. Once that door closes on your fertility and your appeal to have a mate, it's going to be lonely out there. It's going to be so many lonely women. And we see it now, all these famous women. And here's another thing. The one thing that's different between a spinster woman who doesn't have any kids in her 40s, like Ellis Ross and those, and some of these younger baby mamas, well, the one thing they did was satisfy their biological imperative, but it hurt them in terms of having a good mate later on, unless those kids were grown and gone, and they find a man who doesn't want any more kids, but he's going to have kids himself. So the attitudes are different. So we're so upside down in the Black community. It's crazy, and it's spreading to other communities as well. But women, they're hurting themselves. Because I did tell my daughters the same thing, Trey. I said, you're never going to find a better pool of eligible men than you would in college. Together like that. So make sure you keep numbers and a network. That kind of stuff. So we'll see. So yeah, I don't have any sons.
Yeah, I have to say this, right? When I asked you guys other question that I asked you earlier, I saw the confusion, and to me, they didn't look good. Your answers were okay, but not good. And I'll tell you why your answers were okay, but not good. Women.
Wait. So you're about to tell us how to be men?
No. I wish I could. That's not what I'm doing.
You're about to. I'm listening.
I'm just trying to speak from what I've heard from women.
Go ahead, man.
Women are complicated. And another thing is this, right? When you speak to a woman like you speak to another man, you confuse the crap out of her. You see, the answers that you guys give are answers that you can give to a man. But remember, there are women in this chat room, right? So my expectation is that, or my understanding is this: you have to be clear and precise. When you tell a woman what you want, you give the list. And each list, you have to explain it, because that's how they function. Like my wife, she's next to me right now. I remember what I said to you guys. I'm a Nigerian guy. I'm not going to enter the kitchen. I'm not going to cook in the house. If you want to marry a man, you got to learn how to cook Nigerian food. She's sitting next to me right now. And guess what? She cooks it better than most Nigerian women that have ate their food. She's African American, not Nigerian. Never cooked Nigerian food in her life. But she started cooking it when she met me. And she cooked it so good that I'm not eating out in years. If I ever eat out, I eat out once in 2 months, once in 3 months, because I'm always running home to go and eat the food that my wife cooked. But I made that very clear to her at the beginning of the relationship. Then we discussed other things. We discussed the Nigerian culture. I told her how Nigerian men act. She asked some Nigerian women. They said, "Oh, that is not Nigerian culture." And I told her, I don't care what those women think. This is what I'm saying. And guess what she did? She left what those women said to her and went with what I said, right? When me and my wife get into an argument, I'm not there to debate and argue with her over things. I talk to her about what I want. And we make that argument as short as possible. Me and my wife's argument never lasts more than 5 minutes because I shut it down right away. Why are we going to argue? Before you know it, you start saying something that you can't take back. You see what I'm saying? Because the more you argue, the more you start saying shit you can't say back. We did that in our early time of our relationship. I don't do that anymore because I'm not going to have that time. I'm thinking about how to make money, not how to sit down and then cross my leg and begin to argue with a woman. I'm not going to do that. So as men, we have to always be precise on what we want. If you want a woman to always cook in your house, you tell her so that way she can run. You see what I'm saying? Always tell a woman what will make her run away and not get into the relationship. If she stays, that means guess what? You will live a very happy life.
Well, the good news is it was a man that asked me a very specific question and asked the panel a very specific question. So you had a group of men answer a man according to the question that he asked, not as if we are out on our first or second date. Like I don't agree with the way you came back with that reply, but I do understand exactly what you're saying. And with what you're saying, I agree.
Well, it's nice that you have a functioning relationship to which you found a wife who respects you in what you say and what your culture is and what your expectations are up front. However, we are in a different era in 2023 where the majority of American women do not give a shit. They're not looking to acquiesce to what men want, no matter when we tell them at the beginning, middle, or end. What they're operating off of is their feelings. Their feelings govern how cooperative they choose to be or not to be, right? They acquiesce to their instincts, which are usually alpha or dominant men, a specific kind of archetype that kind of dominates and has a presence that they can feel, and then that's what they naturally submit to and respect. Versus other men who wait, versus other types of men who don't have the build, who don't have that presence, but do have enough intelligence and wherewithal to where they're successful in their own right, but don't give off that same natural biological instinct energy that an alpha or a dominant male would. Now, what were you going to say?
Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead. Let
me ask you a question. You use the word majority of women, right? I think one of the things that
modern women.
Wait, hold on for a second. It could be true, but are we trapped by this echo chamber of the internet? I mean, the solid majority of women are the loudest, right? Mm-hmm. The problem we have with the modern women is they hide behind, they circle the wagons around the most ratchet women they can, whether they're ratchet themselves or not, right? You know what I'm saying? They protect each other with this foolishness. So I don't know whether, like I was going to ask Ikene this, and it's connected to your question. Ikene, how many women did you go through before you told them that your wife has to be like a Nigerian woman? How many American women did you eliminate or disqualify based on your rules? Or do you remember?
Oh no, I eliminated a whole lot of American women. I'll be honest with that. A whole lot before her.
Okay. All right. So you went through the numbers. All right. You went through the numbers to find the one. And how long you been married?
I went through the numbers to find the one. That's 100% correct. I'm not gonna lie to you. You know me, I'm always straight.
Well, how long ago was that? 14 years, you said?
That we've been together.
Yeah.
We've been together going to 14 years. This is the 13th year, so next year is going to be the 14th year.
All right. So you still was in the 2000s, right?
That was 2010.
Right. So what I'm trying to say is that's still kind of considered the modern era. And he found a woman that would live according to his rules.
Right.
So I'm thinking in 2023, when I start hearing men say that there's no women out there, I hate that narrative because it's just not true.
Well, no one's saying no. Wait. No one's saying no. No one's. Absolutely.
I'm not saying.
I know. But I know that's what you're hearing. I know it's what you're hearing.
You just gotta go through more numbers. You just gotta go through the numbers.
But okay. So the reason why we have like a passport movement, passport bros. I mean, more specifically, why we have a MGTOW, why we have a manosphere, is because of what's happening modern day today in the dating scene and in dating pool and what kind of women that we're running into and we're actually hearing what they're telling us and what they're saying to the world. We're watching all their TikToks, we're watching all their Instagrams, we're watching all of these things that they're saying that they want. They're rattling off some list that is completely applies to only a smaller percentage of men, and the smallest percentage of men have all the options, right? So what does it leave for the rest of us men who aren't running around, doing the crazy stuff, living day to day, but we're not the top 20 or 15% of men, to which all of the more modern women are rattling off this list this list applies to only this small percentage. How do you reconcile?
The modern women that are vocal, what I'm saying is that men, the MGTOW movement, the passport bro movement, which I all respect, they just get tired of going through the numbers.
Right.
Right, so there are some men in America who are non-select men who say, I'm gonna keep going through the numbers until I find one, because we have the time to do it. Right. As long as you're on your grind, right? I mean, you can, as a man, you can get married well into your 40s and still have a nice life with a woman once you find her. So what's the hurry? So I think some guys just get tired of going through the numbers, tired of the disappointment. They become MGTOW. They go overseas, which I don't blame the passport bros. I follow Austin Holloman. His arc as a man is tremendous. And from Brazil to where he's at in Africa now, I follow him pretty closely. I said, man, you know what? I think more young men should be doing that shit. He still says some shit because he's a regular dude. He ain't perfect. But from 22 to where he's at now, it's impressive. This shit's really, really impressive.
And speaking of that, I think here's what it is. I think that a lot more women, since social media took off the way it did, they have more options to men that may want to access them, whether it be in the same city, same state, or even same part of the country. So women get flown out from here to there if you got the money, if you're that kind of guy. I think that when we're talking about overseas for men, how that's applying to men is a type of a small type of leveling the playing field as far as going through the numbers to find what you want. And we've never had that or explored that as an option as a social collective. Now, it was always a military thing, but outside of military, only if you had like international business could you even entertain like going to different countries and looking for different women to date. That applied to, again, a certain small percentage of men. But if that were more common amongst people who just work the 9 to 5, or maybe work from home, or maybe I would see that as kind of like, we don't have to our options aren't limited to just our region. We can actually travel and have more extensibility to find exactly what we want, rather than having to settle for somebody who's grown up in a culture of me, when I feel like it, I don't have to, things like that.
EBD, what do you do when you find her? Let's say you go to Colombia and you find a woman and you want to marry. What do you do with her? Do you bring her back, or do you move to Colombia?
I'm actually on this. I think I'm on the passport brothers wave now, because not out of anything other than necessity. Let me tell you why. Because we are suffering from what I notice is that a man who wants to get his shit together and it's still going to be hard for him. Yeah, he's still going to be smacked in front of the face of a degenerate culture, right? It's like you're picking a woman from a bad culture. And let me tell you why I've actually been very down on men marrying just American women lately. Because women need idols and they all follow the wrong ones, especially in America. They all follow the wrong one. So even if they like, no, it's just a little toxic and I got it under control. That is the ideology she has adopted. And you notice they willingly follow people that'll tell you the most outlandish shit, such as kill black baby boys in utero. They like literally any woman that's black and a mom should literally be hunting for that lady. But no, that's what I would do. But no, you jump on her bandwagon and put a deaf ear and just let that shit get out of the way. I would follow nothing somebody like that said after they said some shit like that. But the reason why I think that they should go overseas is because you have to have an example of a functional culture. What I've noticed with American men and women is we don't even have answers to the problems we face. That's why relationships are breaking up. Basically, put it to you like this. I can understand that a woman, Eli, chill. I can understand that a woman who just had a baby, who works and needs help cleaning the house, I can understand why she's stressed, right? But then you'll see that a woman's kids are in school and she still won't have an answer for why she's doing most of the workload. That's because here in America, women don't think to let their kids help them with chores all the time anymore. Not in this generation. You think your man's supposed to be helping. Your kid's supposed to be helping you, but you want them to just play, right? I've noticed that modern women don't have an answer for the problems they go through, nor are they seeking an answer that is actually doable. They're trying to put a new age spin on something and it's not working, right? They'll have kids they'll say they need help cleaning the house. They got a 10 and 11-year-old, but they're slaving cleaning the house while those kids are playing video games. I see a problem with that, right?
Yeah, Trigger. I was at a restaurant yesterday, and this is exactly what you're talking about. It's exactly what happened. I'm going to say the European. Figure out what the language was. It might have been Russian, but I'm not sure. When they were, first of all the younger girls.
He's there.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. You're back.
Okay,
Go ahead.
All the younger girls and the women went and got the plates for the men, and the men never got up. The only time the men got up was to pay for the meal and when it was time to leave. I watched this whole thing unfold. Then the women went and got the plates because you had to go get your own food. The women got the plates for the men. They got the plates for everybody else. But what I noticed that was different was when they were done, the women and the men all got up and the kids all cleared the table. There was no adult that. So just to your point, Trigger, I was like, because I had never seen it before. I was like, wait. And I'm noticing that all the girls and all these girls, they had to be between the ages of like 9 and like 15. It was like between that ages. They all cleared the tables. They all put the tables back, put the chairs back. All the kids did all the work. Meanwhile, the adults were outside waiting on them. And I was sitting there thinking, like, I've never seen that before. To speak to your point, Trick, I literally saw it yesterday.
You have to see this shit up close. Because I'm not even trying, like, I'm no longer even criticizing people. What I realize is now everybody is a product of what they were or were not taught. And I do not think we have people who are willing to be taught anything. The same saying goes, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. So any man that's trying to change himself here, like really like, because what I notice is that as men age, in order to be around men who are doing productive things, and these men tend to have families and all of that, that's when a man will kind of mature up and say, no matter what my background was, I need to make a change. I need to do better than what was done for me. And in an effort to do that, you can't mess with a lot of these women out here. They want to do things their way, not the right way, not the way that works. They are watching TV. They are looking at love and hip hop relationships saying, well, I want to try this. I want my kid to be raised like this. You cannot expect prosperity in a relationship with that type of outlook. So I think you need to marry or at least start consorting with women who come from these type of cultures so you can be inspired by it. Right? Like that shit right there is par for the course in most non-Western families. Children do all that work. I did that shit.
AP has something. Go ahead, AP.
Yeah, I'm listening to Trigger Mike and I listen to Trey, and some of the points were good, and I love what Trey was able to witness. I think that's dope. But I believe that we as men, we need to get better with our social skills. I believe that we are grossly outnumbered when it comes to men to women here in the United States. And because of that, there's somebody there is play the numbers, as we stated earlier. Play the numbers. Going overseas, going overseas isn't going to change you from being from I hate to say being a square, but it's not going to change you from being a square to being somebody awesome. You have to change your mindset. And also I think that we spend entirely too much time in relationships hoping they're going to work out instead of cutting ties when we identify that it's not going to work out and going ahead and playing the next number. I refuse to lose faith, and this might be a me issue, but I refuse to lose faith in American women. I refuse to lose faith. I have a friend who actually went overseas, and they are what appears to be a very successful marriage right now. But I also have friends who are in what appears to be successful marriages from American women. And the difference between them, truthfully, is the swag. If there was ever such a word, right? Is the swag in the guys. I just think you get continue to play the numbers and quit wasting time. I think we blame women for a lot of things instead of looking inside of ourselves, changing what we see as liabilities, leveling ourselves up, and becoming better men.
So
just overall.
Can I
AP,
say this about overseas women real quick? I was in the military. I've traveled to 30 plus countries or whatnot. I think there's a common misconception that the women overseas don't know the game, or they're green and they're actually better at it. They come from impoverished. They understand how to get to the money. They understand what to say. They understand how to use their sexuality better than women in America. They understand a lot of things that I think that a lot of men here in America think that you can go over and you're going to be able to pull the wool over her eyes. No, sir. It doesn't work that way. You're the one that's going to get played. I guarantee you.
all right.
You're the
So
one that's going to get played.
Trey, let me ask you,
I think all the men
because I'm not going to disagree. I'm not going to disagree with you, Trey. But even while they're doing all that stuff, can they still remain feminine and cooperative with their men?
But that's the thing. Here's the thing. That's a part of the shtick. That's the part y'all missing.
No, here's where
of it.
hold on. Here's where I will disagree a little bit, just a little bit. So I understand what you're saying. So I agree. The only disagreement I have is that when they come from some families where the father is still the head, and regardless of they know the game is the way the game is played, they know how to market themselves in the sexual marketplace. They still understand the value of a man.
Work for that shit.
They put the value of a man is never undercut. I've never heard an American woman say, "I will die before my children go fatherless." I've heard a bunch of African women say it. I've heard some Indian women say something to the sort. Never heard American women say that shit, because they know by the time you put out results like that into the world, you're going to need to be accountable for them. So it's a little bit different. I agree with you what you're saying. But
Trigger,
they got some game.
Trigger. These guys is not going over there looking for those women. That's not the women they're looking for.
But they
we're talking about
overseas. They are not raised under the monocle of "I don't need a man."
Hold on, let me get these super chats real quick. Advanced perception, $2. Respect, integrity, cooperation, and reciprocity. I don't even know what that was too, but I like it. Those sound good to me. Advanced perception,
that was that
$5.
list we were talking about earlier. When Nikine was asking, like, what 3 things do you list like from a woman? This is the answer to that.
Oh man, I like that. These are the 2 types of passport brothers: the ones that find love overseas and the ones that go looking for it. The latter is looking for sex tourism. That's an interesting point. And you know what I noticed too? It's a lot of older military gentlemen that you will never hear from. They don't do YouTube. Those are like the original passport brothers. Yeah, because when I'm on Facebook, you know, like, oh damn, man, what you doing in Italy, bro? Yeah, I married my wife out here about 5 years ago. It's such a beautiful place, so I just stayed. Like those dudes are not on YouTube. Those are the original Passport Bros.
Marvin Hagler was a passport bro.
Yeah, like
He went
these
to
dudes
Italy, he
are
never did
literally
that.
creating families. They just look at the environment, look at the culture, and say, "This is much better. I want my children raised here versus America." You know what I mean? And that's it. Those are the original
And
dudes. And I'm
you notice that those brothers also have a different type of a way that they carry themselves too.
absolutely
Most,
mature.
I think my man was saying it before, man. We have a problem as men in America with being socially aware, right? We don't have the confidence that you will see in a lot of men that's not in America. We got some guys that are terrible when it comes down to actually learning how to even walk up to a woman and and approach them. So
Yeah,
most of these guys, they get the low hanging fruit. They get these Miami type of girls into to the point what you guys was talking about as far as passport bros. You can, to Trey's point, you can take your ass over to another country and they got that Miami mentality. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
A lot of these women have traveled too. Most of them, Florida is their thing. When they come to America, it's either Florida or now is Atlanta and California. And so they adopt that same Western type of mentality if you get the wrong ones. But the ones that actually, when you go over to a lot of these, for instance, Panama is not really where I consider you can be like an authentic passport bro, because they think just like Westerners.
Of
That's
course.
just what it is, you
Western.
know. But I think that you should have more so-called passport bros, because what it does is give, for one, it gives you a greater outlook on the world. The world is not as small as a lot of these men think it is. Most men don't even date outside of their city, let alone the state. You know what I'm saying?
Mm. That's a big part of the
Yeah,
problem too. Let
I
me
agree with that.
Yeah.
let me read this real quick. Lou, $5. My roommate's mom and sister are visiting from Brazil. I haven't cleaned the house, cooked, or washed my own plate in a month. They speak super low. Indeed. I mean, my wife's aunts visited from Panama. What was that? Last month? Yeah, like early last month. Didn't touch a damn thing in this house. They
Trigger Mike,
watch
Listen,
just a
pornography.
reminder.
I'm not
Trigger
saying that the
Mike,
women
just a reminder,
overseas
real quick. You
don't
got
handle
SVU
domesticated
live at
duties. That's
5:30.
not what I'm saying, and I'm not
Oh,
saying that they're
damn.
not
In
feminine.
a
I'm
minute?
not saying
Yeah.
that either.
No, it
I'm
I
starts
simply
at
thought it was
saying that a lot of
4:30.
the women.
5:30. Well, it's 4:30. It's 4:30 your time.
Yeah,
5:30 Eastern Standard. So you got 30
got you,
minutes.
got you.
Just
So let
reminding
me
you.
respond to something my man AP said, because you're extending a conversation we had on She Critique about men and social skills. I literally just I had a conversation with myself about this watching football yesterday. I watched Bill Belichick and his inarticulate ass get up on that podium and be like, well, it's just one of them. Well, you know how Bill Belichick talks.
Yeah.
And that we are taking the narrative of women and putting it on a scale for men again. Now, I am not here saying that men should not have social skills. What I'm saying is these particular add-ons were never a requirement. It's not really required to be a good man. Social skills are required for dating, and that's why so many men fail at it. You used to be able to court a woman, and no matter how articulate or inarticulate you were, or how unable you were to express yourself, men learn that not through a group of women, through their women, through their female friends, through the women that through their family. They learn over a lifetime how to communicate with this woman that's mine. And she loves him because of his morals, his values, his character. He gets up and goes to work every day. He's respectful to his peers. He loves his children. They love that about their men, no matter how articulate or inarticulate they are. Watching Bill Belichick yesterday, what is that man not a football genius? He's a
He's all
genius
right.
in the mind. On paper, he is a genius
He's all right.
level person. Exactly. But he can't articulate himself with words. So should he not have a wife? Like that's what I'm saying. We want men to have social skills, but it's only required to date. And dating is what started this whole mess in the first place.
That's a fair point. Let me chew on that, and I'll get back to you tomorrow.
All right.
Can I say this about because I don't believe that you're a passport bro if you're just traveling overseas just to get cheaper box. That doesn't make to me a passport bro is somebody who's traveling overseas and is actually marrying a woman that is over there, and you become an expat and you married a woman and you're there.
Yeah.
And got a date of birth.
And as an ex-service member, you know tons of dudes like
that's not fair.
But
I mean,
the reason is because you're not going to bring her. Let me finish, Arpain, because you're not going to bring her back to America. Everybody says that America's the place, so you're not bringing her back. So if you're not living there, how are you a passport bro?
Well, hold on.
To me, it just seems like you're just traveling just to get cheaper box.
Well, hold on for a second. Why can't men go over there for a whole gambit of reasons? Right? I mean, I think if you're a passport bro, the most important thing you can do is learn the culture where you're at. Right? Whether you're going over there just to smash women, going over there to find a wife, or going over there to,
Shit, they don't know the culture here in the
United States. Why put a governor on it? I know the women do that, but we got, people, they could go over there for the whole gambit of reasons. Just like in the United States. Some men want to smash, some men want relationships. It don't make no difference. But if you go overseas, the whole general thing is, my man like Austin, he doesn't want to be called a passport bro, but tag, you're it. That's what people call him. So the fact is that everything is on the table. It's just how you present yourself. Some guys, if you over there buying box, then that's what you do. You're not going to get the same kind of respect as a man who's going over there to set up life in a different country. You're just not. But there's plenty of men who do it.
What are the majority of the men going overseas to do?
I don't know what the majority of men are doing.
Oh, come on.
The natural the natural progression of things is that you do smash, and then you do date, and then you filter that and vet out that woman that you may want, and then eventually get married.
So let me tell y'all something. Hold on, y'all. Let me tell y'all something I've also observed overseas. Okay. Remember, we usually judge these men by the ones we get visuals from, the ones that take video, right? But you remember the same dudes that can't get ass over here, they can't really get ass over there either.
Right.
So, it's not like women didn't learn what a man who ain't got no game look like. They will read you up and read you down like, nah, you're not him in America. You see what I'm saying? So
no, they're the ones that wind up getting drugged and get robbed.
Yeah. So that I will definitely agree.
So everybody is not like you said, Trey. Everybody's not a passport bro just because they go overseas, right? So it just depends on what how you define it. I think that in these spaces, people try to malign the brothers who go over there because they want a different experience where women do have culture, right? And we can't throw water on that or gasoline. You got to throw gasoline on it because we know the culture here, especially Black culture, is dead, is ratchet.
Man, look, the Black culture is very different depending on where you go in this country. It's not all the same. It's not universal. Not a monolith. And quite frankly, I'm actually tired of us using this point in this manosphere. Like we talk about passport bros and experiencing other cultures, but we got a dude that lives in Dallas and ain't even been to Illinois, but he's gonna go to Panama. What are we talking about?
Well, I mean, we know he didn't go to somewhere else. But I'm saying, my cousin opened an art gallery, but they don't put her on the face of music. They put fucking Sexy Red and these ratchet ass bitches, man. And everybody's, so they're being with that's the new racism. Showing us people the face of Black community, the most ratchet people they can show. Rappers, and whether they're male or female. The culture is devastated, right? When's the last time a man who wanted a wife and had a man to go talk to ask his hand in marriage?
See, this is where we disagree again. Like you got to ignore the noise and ignore parts of whatever you think is wrong with the culture. Because I'm gonna tell you, my daughter, who is actually about to be 17, the shit that you just mentioned, she doesn't listen to any of it. None of it. Not a bit of it. It's crazy to me that that we say these blanket statements and it's not even completely factual.
Well,
Like,
your daughter
we
is the
men,
exception or the rule, the majority or the minority.
she is, in my opinion, she is the majority when we talk about men being inside the home.
But a majority or minority who don't listen to Sexy Red, who don't. She's famous. She's famous for a reason.
It's up to us to cultivate what's good and what's bad inside our kids.
Let me agree with you, brother. I'll agree with you, right? But I have a video of 10,000 girls in a concert singing word for word "Wet Ass Pussy" with Cardi B and that other
Megan Thee Stallion.
Megan Thee Stallion. It was dope. Then we had the likes of 10,000 young girls singing WAP. You know what I'm saying, man? That's a lot of fucking girls.
And then there's 25,000 girls at a damn what's the white girl name? I can't think of
Taylor
the name
Swift.
right offhand. At a Taylor Swift concert, not singing it. So who's the majority and who's the minority? Let's keep it real.
But we're talking about like celebrities, right? Celebrities garner the most attention in America, and for us in the Black community, it's more, you know, rappers and entertainers. Like before, even during YouTube, I'm learning about Sexy Red and Sukihana and all that. I don't listen or watch on my own, right? You told me, and then now I know who they are. Different generations, information travels differently. It's on their phones. They get an alert. They have a new song. They can listen to it instantly. And now any lyric that they put out there is in their ear. How many hours a day?
Yeah, Trigger, man. You cut it close.
Like,
man.
I literally disagree.
What time is it?
I just believe it's
409.
409. You got 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
You got 20 minutes.
Oh yeah.
No, but what were you saying, AP?
No, like I just disagree, and the reason I disagree is because I believe it's up to men to be in the lives of the daughters. If you're in the lives, if you're in the lives of your daughter, and you help mold and cultivate them, then the bad decisions that we were talking about earlier don't happen. This ridiculous music that you're talking about doesn't happen. Like it's up to us. Like we keep pointing fingers here, there, and everywhere. But I completely disagree. And I want to give a story.
AP. Nobody. So we have to. I don't know. We got to level set as men. Yes. Nobody's going to disagree with you.
Not one person.
But not one person is going to disagree with you. But as men, what are the roadblocks? Like we have to literally think of what the roadblocks are for most men and the barriers put into their way to get through to their girls. So we know that there are a group of men that are completely absent, and that's actually the minority. Go figure. That are completely absent for their kids' lives. That's the minority. Then you have people in co-parenting situations where the mother has custody, right? So they get the kid only during visitation. So that's limitation of, transfer of discipline.
Influence and discipline.
You're limited on your ability of influence. But the one thing that I want us to attack, and I've seen a group of fathers doing this in Texas, is that they literally spend their weekends fighting to get government legislature to mandate things such as legal joint custody right out the gate, like, stuff like that. Because I'm looking at it from the sense of everything we're saying is great until a woman gets an attitude. Then what? She doesn't show up for the visitation with the kid. You have to put in for a court date to tell on her, and it's 3 months away. Then what? Right? So a lot of men are dealing with a lot of different issues. Do you see me on this? Take your butt out there. Not to interrupt me. All right. Do you hear me? All right, go. So
yes,
you know
sir.
what I'm saying?
That's what I'm talking about.
All right. So, damn, what was I saying, man? This boy pissed me off.
The legislation.
You were too busy being a responsible dad. That's what the
legislation and a group of men moving the legislation.
Yeah, but that's what needs to happen more. So nobody gonna disagree that these fathers need to be in their children's lives, but I think we really got to sit there and lay out a plan to say what are the biggest roadblocks to this, right? Because you get the firsthand account Not even from the mom, not from the dad. Get the firsthand account from the kids, and they'll tell you a lot of this BS that's going on. I've been wanting to live with my dad for she said it was going to happen when I was 12. She never took me. She doesn't let me see. Like, they will tell on like what's going on in these streets. It is foul, right? And it's not about blame, but we have to stop as men doing the chivalrous thing by absolving women of accountability when they vote on legislation that affects us. How the hell did they vote on shit that affects me, but yet I'm gonna say, no, don't blame women at all for anything. No, they asked for equality. They got it. Accountability is synonymous with the word blame. So I get to blame they ass for shit because they asked for the ability to let me blame them for shit. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, sometimes those absent fathers, fuck them, off with their head. We don't like them over here. But there's more to be said about why doesn't the father have custody? Most of these mothers that are struggling, go give the dad custody. Why is that never an option when we want to talk about it? Oh, you're struggling? You can't discipline the kids. They don't listen. Go give them to the dad and watch them not want to talk anymore. Right? So I'm just saying, there's a lot of nuance there.
There is, I agree.
Super chats read. Call me Tazzy 49. Oh, man. I don't even got this thing hooked up, but let me get the Don DeMarco. You probably couldn't hear that, but that was the Don DeMarco for you, man. My man called me Tazzy with the 50 ball. Shout out to all the men on the panel. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to do the good Lord's work. Thank you for your super chat, man. We appreciate the love. Big Ant 11, my man, $10. One benefit I stand on about being in the military is going to other countries and seeing how other people go about their lives. That shit is beautiful. To watch how people walk through Venice, Italy, bro, that shit is life-changing. I told my wife, if you want to lose weight, go live in Venice. Because you walking everywhere, bro. Everywhere. No, just to watch that. They stand to eat their food. Like, you know how we eat while we're walking? Like New York City people will get a hero, they'll get something
hot
and just
dog,
eat it
whatever. Yeah.
They don't do that there. They said, no, take your time. Say a blessing over your food. Sit, show up earlier so you can stand there, eat your food, and greet. When you're eating at the little stand, they bring you like complimentary drinks just for your health. Like, good day to you there. So I was like, damn, I love this, man. We lost so much culture here. It's ridiculous. We lost so much culture here. All right. Big Ant. 11, $10. EBD, stop lying, bro. You know you love Sukiana. You know, he's the neighborhood hoe. He probably smashed her. He probably smashed her. Look, man.
I can't even pronounce her name real good. How can I be smashing something?
I'm not joking when I say this. When Sukiana's face comes across a screen, I want to throw up. This is an example of like too nasty. The stuff that she says, it's not even just the stuff she looks like. Like, how do you feel comfortable in your own skin being this vile all the time? Like, and for me, it was that after that London video of her talking about we gonna eat a nigga ass today. Like, what?
Oh, wait a minute. Was that her on the going to the walking up to the thing saying that?
Hold on,
walking up to the car.
Let me address this troll in the chat real quick. But Kevin Gates is okay? Fuck no. I don't listen to him neither. No. All them niggas deserve each other. They're all nasty.
I don't know who
They're all fucking nasty. Ew.
Look, it's crazy. I got a teenage daughter, and y'all say all of this. Y'all say these names, and I have no fucking idea of who any of these people
Yeah,
are.
man. Like, I don't know, man. I think they think
when I came up is where I found out. I don't know before that. Yeah.
These people are all nasty. Like, first off, I don't know if because I've noticed now, Sexy Red and Sukiana are so bad that some black women are like starting to blow the whistle. Like, all right, this is too much. We didn't know where the line would be drawn, but now I've heard like multiple women call her industry plant. They call them industry plants. They're like, nah, you here to tear down the image of black women. Oh no, I was like, oh, so this is the limit. Huh?
They are plants.
We gonna eat a nigga ass is the limit. Okay.
Yeah, she's Frank Lucas. She's Frank Lucas. You know Frank Lucas?
Oh, Frank Lucas. Yeah. No, I'm yeah. What about him?
He's gone.
Damn.
Uh-oh.
Where you
What
at?
happened? We lost him.
Well, look at God. We about to end the show anyway, man. All right, y'all. We catch up
Hey,
tomorrow.
man, good conversation, man.
No
Yeah.
doubt. Hey, look,
Yeah.
tomorrow, unless something crazy happens in the world, tomorrow, this is the Gender War Continues Part 2. So a lot of hoopla over the last week. And we're basically going to talk about what is in it for women. I've been thinking about this. I thought about it in the car. I said, what is in it for women in the gender war? Right? Everybody says the old saying is nobody wins when the family feuds. But what I want y'all to think about and ponder on is what do women actually get at the end of all of this? At the end of this war, what do they get? Are we all going to be kneeling down under their foot? Like think about it realistically. So that's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow.
All right, man.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Good one, gentlemen.
All right.
Later on, gentlemen.
I do see.
Peace.
All right, bro. All right, man.
Deuces.
So I'm about to jump on. All right, JT, my man. Both JTs. All right. So we will see you tomorrow. Please jump over to SB's Live. I'm gonna be up there right now before I take my son to Kumon at 5:30 Central. So I'll be up there for about 50 minutes. Yeah, go ahead and subscribe if you have not. Go over to SB's channel right now. We're gonna be talking about a dope topic. Let me get that topic for you right now. She's already sent it to me. She sent it to me. Is this a deal breaker? So deal breakers in relationships, more specifically about the Jeezy and Jeannie Mod situation. So jump over to Security Boss Unlimited's channel, SBU Live right now. I'll be there in a few minutes. So y'all be good, man. We'll catch you tomorrow. Tomorrow's topic, if nothing else changes, is the gender war continues. Part 2. What do women get at the end of this war? That they started this shit. You wanted to renegotiate your gender role, you declared war, basically. All right. So what do you get at the end of it? We want to know. All right, y'all. Take it easy. I'm out. Go over to SBU Live right now. Subscribe to her channel and catch the broadcast in about 10 minutes.